juices. You know what? Woo! Right now. Woo! Woo! Woo!
Dr. Hughes invites followers. Oh, let's see if they increase now. Me too. Yeah, wow. Dr. Hughes.
Monkey's mock.
He's a great podcaster.
Tricky's mock.
Acknowledge me.
We coming for you, nigga. Fat! Yeah, Dr. Hughes, here we go. Keep plugging yourself, that's cool.
First up, a man whose looks will serve your inner needs and desires.
Dr. Hughes.
Oh, yeah. You know the deal. Back again. Dr. Huge Show. Saturday, 3 p.m. Mark it down, everybody. Get subscribe and get like and all that stuff. Of course, got the Sleaze in the house. Danny Damage. Gonna show up one of these days. One of these days, Sleaze. Are you professional or not? Like Christian Bale says. I got to bring those samples back. Anyway, if you're not retweeting this, sharing this, coming over to YouTube, getting in the chat over here, and interacting. This is an interactive cast, Sleaze. Did you know we were doing that?
Yeah, it's interactive.
Mm-hmm.
Every single week, we interact.
Right. I think that's why we don't get so many trolls, because they come in, they don't think we're going to, like, get into it with them. We will.
They're afraid.
Yeah, I'm not mature. I'll totally get into it with everybody on the internet. Why not? You know, that's like how podcasts get ahead these days. They have nothing to like talk about. So they kind of just fight with one another, and that becomes this internet drama. And then it becomes like a whole work. Like these guys are literally behind the scenes making deals and going, yeah, we're going to argue this week and we're going to do this. And none of it's really real like that. They'll even attack each other's families and stuff. It's kind of crazy. Just for like a couple super chat dollars.
That's so stupid.
We can't even get yet over here. I guess maybe we do need to start fighting with somebody.
We got to be the opposite of a good show. That's the only way to get ahead, I feel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And fight with each other and hate each other. And
all these platforms, they hate us. They hate the show. TikTok doesn't want to work with us. We were fucking killing it on TikTok, everybody. I swear to God, we were, as soon as I brought the show back and we were doing lives on there, I mean, hundreds and hundreds immediately. And we was growing every week, and then they banned us. And then they never appealed, never looked at my appeal. They allow me to go live, but not through the show. Go figure, right?
Makes sense.
And
you did something to the Chinese. I don't know what you did, but they don't like you.
I love the Chinese. I love everybody, okay?
Yeah.
You can't get me to pick sides out here. I'm not picking sides. I'm on my side. I'm on the show's side. Like everybody else here out here should be, and they should be getting this Linktree link and all this stuff. Don't worry, I'm going to stop promoting in a minute. I know this pisses off Brooklyn Brawler.
Oh, God.
In the intro, he hates when I promote myself. Some people they can't stand it when you try to get something going. They fucking they go out of their minds when like, how dare you try to sell something? And while I watch 100 hours of wrestling a week, and that's all they do to me, but I can't do it to anybody else. Got it. Thanks.
Gone are the days of the good formats of any kind of radio show or podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's garbage now. Really is. I've tried to branch out and listen to different things lately, and it brings me back to like the handful of shows that I listen to, which includes ours, because it's great.
Yep. I even listen back at times, and I'm like, man, I forget like how great this show is.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I got a good sound system in my new truck, so our voices come out smooth and beautiful.
We have voice for radio. We have faces for television.
Total package.
Mm-hmm. We got it all. Reezy's here. We got to be different from everyone. So many try to be like everybody else. LOL, and it's sad. It is sad, Reezy. And I don't even bother trying. This show is what it is. Okay. If you think it stinks, I guess. But if you like it and you fucks with it, then hey, we're doing great, right? I think we're doing just fine. Even though I can't get Karrion Kross on the show or Drew McIntyre or indie wrestlers or anybody. Nobody wants. I don't know what the deal is. It was way easier the first time when nobody knew who we were. I think now bringing back the show, we're getting close to a year. It will be a year in November. Right. But this first year is harder than the first year in 2017, when we started actually taking the audio podcast and doing it live on a stream and stuff. That was blowing up. That just blew up out of nowhere. And that was through Periscope. And people still remember the show from Periscope. I see people in chat going, is this the Dr. Huge show from Periscope? I'm like, yes. Yes, it is.
I even talked to Reezy the other day about followers on Twitter, because when we stopped doing the show, I shut down the Twitter. So when we started back up, I restarted, and it's twice as hard now to even get followers. It was easy back in the day.
Yep. It was like people wanted to connect and actually have a social media, and that was the beginning of what I would say is the real IWC. But ever since everybody's been saying ever since really 2020. When the thing we can't talk about happened, and that really ruined everything. Ever since then, the art, we're getting more and more remakes. Don't even want to get into it, but shout out to Danny Damage in the house. How are you doing? How are you sounding?
Good evening. Very sorry for the lateness.
It's fine. Yeah. We're used to it over here, all right?
It's been a very long day. We just got the little one off to sleep, but everything seems to be... I won't say it.
How dare you starting families over there? You don't allow that on the Dr. Huge show.
Yeah. I've had 2 abortions since I've been back.
What? Did you give him the John Cena?
Yes.
John Cena recognized.
Sacrifice my children to the god of John Cena.
John Cena is out here being a menace again. Did you see him last night on SmackDown? Took on Ronald Killings. Ron's been, out of his mind. He's all mad. He's attacking one of the, what's his name? One of the gay dudes in that tag team there. You attacked him last night. And and then at the end of the night, he had to take on John Cena. It was a respect match, not for a title or anything. And then John Cena ended up getting disqualified because he hit him in the face with the belt. There's so much to remember, folks. So that's what happened. Then CM Punk came out to save Ron Cena, gets in the ring with him, gets beat up by John Cena, put through a table, and then John Cena then goes on to sit on the top rope and cuts top 5 greatest promo ever, maybe one of the best of all time. And again, I understand everybody out here is creatively, what's the word, inept, creatively flaccid, if you will, and they can't come up with anything new, and they just keep going back to the wells of the past. But in this case, it made all the sense in the world, and John Cena added to it along the way, before, in the middle, and then in the end. But he basically cut CM Punk's own promo to himself, made a ton of sense, and it was sick. You guys have any takes on this? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
I didn't see it, so there we go.
Well, I just explained it to you, but I'll give you a key part. At the very, very end, too, he drops the mic, walks out of the ring, or climbs through the ropes, comes back into the ring, picks up the mic, and says something to the effect of, "And thanks for letting me use your own promo to make you look even stupider." And then he left again. I thought to myself, I'm like, is that a part of the old? Because I'm not one of these wrestling nerds that I'm going back in time and watching these promos over and over and word for word memorizing them. So I don't know if he said that at the end of the first pipe bomb, or if this was just Cena kicking dirt in his face, before he leaves.
No, that was Cena kicking dirt in his face.
Yes,
it was. Yeah, every part of that was perfect. And, even mentioning Matt Cardona and Claudio, and who else did he? Nick Nemeth.
And did you hear
just mentioning those 3 was fantastic, because if you know the history, he supposedly buried all those guys, which was it was great. It was great. It was the pipe bomb 2.0.
And have you heard the conspiracy theory behind those names?
Yes.
Do you think there's something to it? There might be something to it. Because not only are, I believe you're right, naming guys from the past, but he did bring up Castagnoli, which is his name over in AEW. And then Nick and Matt are also in AEW. And those could be code for the Young Bucks.
Yes. And then Claudio is CC, which is Colt Cabana. That was part of it too. Mm-hmm. So it was very smart if they did that. It was very, very like one of their most impressive like thought process. If they did that, it was really good.
Cena destroyed. I mean, you could tell he's been in Hollywood for years and acting classes and all the rest. Yeah, that's all I ever think about when I think about acting is how easy it should be and could be, except for the memorization part. So you expect me to remember the pipe bomb promo and do it out there on top of other stuff that I'm coming up with? Anybody else would fudge that up, but Cena knocked it out of the park. And it was funny because Punk had to lay there the whole time. It was like several minutes, you know? And he's laying there, and finally comes to when it's like, are we done yet? And they still had 2 minutes to kill on SmackDown, and they started doing more juggling acts with, you know, the announcers and all the rest. But amazing. What a way to end a 14-hour SmackDown.
What was good about Punk laying there for so long is during the original pipe bomb, Cena laid there for so long. And they really paid homage to that, where it was like it was way over time limit for it. At least Cena in the Punk one like actually got up and after a while went into a corner and just sat there and listened. But Punk the whole time was sleeping, which made it even worse.
I do remember from Punk's pipe bomb. He put Cena over. He brought Cena up, but he was like, I like him a lot more than a lot of the guys in the back. At least he's honest with me and things like that. So he wasn't a complete shit about him. But this does sound interesting. Yeah. It's fun how they've switched the roles, kind of like what they did with Cena and The Rock all those years ago too, where Cena actually got to be like, I'm going to be the wrestling team's hero because The Rock has to write his lines on his hands and he's a phony, and everything The Rock ever said before is now applicable to him. And it was entertaining when Cena had that role.
Yep, Punk, he just laid there and listened. Then he fake woke up 7 minutes later to try to like hasten the process, and it was really, really good. But again, he hit every single point mentioned, just like CM Punk, but it was just in reverse. But he hit everything. So, and that's what the crazy part is. To me, it made more sense this time around than, because I wasn't even really watching back at this time, because I'm telling you, that 2000, let's say 7 to 2012 when The Rock came back, that's kind of woke up the sleaze, right? When The Rock came back with Cena and all this. Yeah, it didn't wake me up enough. I was like still out of it. But yeah, that at that time period, it was a great promo. This one's better, in my opinion. Way better.
Yeah, because I mean, he did mention a lot of the stuff Punk did, but then he added his own things. You know, it wasn't like a carbon copy thing. And it was, at one point he said shit. And then he's like, oh my God, John Cena said a bad word. And it was hilarious.
Yeah, definitely, Danny, or anybody out there, if you didn't see this, go watch this for sure. And yes, Reezy. What is this Japanese writing, Reezy?
Yeah, I've been wondering.
Hopefully it doesn't say anything disgusting. 2008, 2009 was really bad. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
2018 and 19 were really bad too. But
yeah, one of the only shining moments was the rivalry between these two, and everything else was not good. But this whole thing back in the day when Punk was in that role, saying I'm going to take the belt and leave and all that stuff, that was actually really good.
What do you guys think of the overall Cena heel turn, we now have multiple months under our belt. So now it's a full swing. Are we liking it? Are we not liking it?
He's doing a good job with it. He's had long enough to sort of like think, just to himself at least, like, when it happens, I'm going to do this, and when it happens, I can then do that. So he's had a lot of time to plan it. It's not something that's been rushed, even if the original execution with him turning was sloppy as hell. And wasn't a fan of that. But yeah, from what I've seen and from also what you guys have said, it's entertaining. And it's good. Like I say, I'm glad he's had this chance to do it, because he does seem to be enjoying it, I think.
I agree. I think, everybody on Twitter is, oh my God, this has been so horrible. I don't know where they're coming up with this, because a lot of it has been genius. A lot of, people forget how good Cena is on the mic. It's ridiculous. He's one of my top 3 on the mic, and he just proved it last night. But at the same time, it's everybody they put him with has been perfect. R-Truth, even Cody, Randy Orton, CM Punk. It's hit, I think, on everything.
You know what? This thought just popped in my head because, John Cena's taken on everybody for the title in his last year, now that he's been holding it, except for R-Truth. And I find that a little suspect. Is it because he's Black Triple H? Is that why? I've heard those rumors.
Geez.
So all the white guys can fight for the title, right, Triple H? But if you're a black guy and you wrestle John Cena, the champion, twice, you can't wrestle for the title. I see what you're doing.
Well, if you're Rikishi, you think every Samoan should be a champion right now. So,
yeah, maybe they should.
When Rikishi lost me this week is that he said that Nikki Lyons is really good. So that just said he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Maybe he likes BBWs.
I don't know. He likes something that nobody else does. So, like Jey Uso being champion for 10 years.
I have notes about this guy. So I think we're done with Cena. We know what's going on. You're going to be taking on that hypocrite CM Punk in Saudi Arabia. CM Punk, a few more CM Punk things, because this is all involved in all that. CM Punk, he held up the title last night, and Drew McIntyre just posted a picture of CM Punk holding up the title. What, half hour ago? So he's back, folks. Drew McIntyre. And since you're back, check your emails.
Yeah. You want to bitch about stuff? Come on here.
Talk to us live. I think that's what it is.
Not dead.
I'm thinking
live.
That's what it is, Sleaze. I think people caught on that we do this live, and they don't like that.
Oh,
they want questions beforehand and stuff. We don't do that stuff here unless you're really high up on the wrestling food chain. Then I'll send you the questions beforehand and still ask my own questions, which I did with Thunder Rosa. She didn't like. I asked her more about the porn star she was working with at the time. Not really working with, but what was that? The Arabian-looking chick that everybody knows of, Mia Khalifa. Yeah, she did some
God, yeah.
her,
I forgot
slapping
about
her
that.
around or whatever. And I go, yeah, the porn chick? And she's like, she doesn't do that anymore. I'm like, all right, well, it's news to me.
She will for the right money. I tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Or when they named some porn star the other day online and said, yes, this live streamer here. And I went, live streamer? And people were like, yeah.
Is that,
right?
is that what we're calling them now? Live streamers?
Well,
Get it? Live streamers?
I don't know. Whatever. If you do whatever you want. I'm not judging anybody, but listen, it's like Michael Jordan being known for baseball, going, yeah, here's the baseball player that you all know of. It's like, baseball player. Okay.
Yeah.
But here's some big news, which will involve Rikishi, who we were just talking about. But this Dean Ambrose, bro, this Moxley the 13th is out here attacking people, attacking production crew members outside the ring. And at the very beginning of the week, he had and AEW, they're being sued technically they're all being sued. Every single wrestler, because they're suing AEW. This production guy, he broke up his cervix. His cervix is broken, and he has to get it reconstructed. Get it, everybody? Get out of here, Triple H. You're not here for this. This is AEW business. Go to your other meetings where you're trying to rob people.
Hey, that camera guy was lucky that Moxley didn't have his machete.
Yeah, seriously.
You know, it could have been worse.
I got footage of it, by the way. I found a picture of, because they wiped it from the internet, but this is what it looks like. Mac Diesel. Here it is. There's a production movie in the hands of Moxley the 13th. Anybody catching all these coincidences happening? Like Friday the 13th just happened last week, right at this time, and
yeah. Right when Moxley's getting sued.
Every Friday the 13th, so there's some news about Moxley.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner. Or at least just this thing in general with AEW. Like, it was the amount of times they just fly into the crowd and like maybe take out a kid or something, or come close to taking out a kid. And it's just, yeah.
That's why sometimes it's so obvious that they plant people in WWE, but that's the reason why. You know, you just don't go into business for yourself and start, you know, throwing down people that work in the company without their consent or setup or. He's an idiot. He's just an idiot all around. He's such a dumb person.
But who's going to make more money this year? This production agent that broke his cervix, or the lady that Stone Cold ran over at WrestleMania?
No, but they had Nick Khan to squash that shit. They have Tony Khan on the other hand.
Nick Khan just ran out there with like a wad of cash. It was like, how much will it take? Oh, and he's like, here you go. Here, just take the whole bundle.
Yeah, we're gonna pay your mortgage for a year.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Because her chair got knocked back like a foot. Like, oh no. Yeah, so be careful out there with these Moxleys and these outlaw mud wrestling shows. You never know what could happen. You could get tubes of glass in your eye and nails. Maybe a flying nail bat ends up in the crowd. Like somebody swings it like a baseball bat, accidentally lets it go, and it goes in some fat Mark's head or something. There's all kinds of stuff that could happen at these shows. You never know. Yep.
That's why, you know, especially because I've had the Sleaze and, you know, the Dr. Huge show on Facebook for years and years. And there's constantly invites for like indie shows. And you have to really look at them, because if I see like barbed wire match, I'm out. I'm not doing that. Yeah. You fucking shit flying in the crowd. And
to go to a wrestling show?
No. I don't have to get a tetanus shot before I go.
Oh, my God. Here's a quick story for you. I knew these people, right? Let's just call them family members. And one of them, he goes out there, right? One of my distant family members had, what's that shit? Diabetes. He had diabetes, so he always had the needles around and stuff. So he had a trash bag, and the trash goes out, and the needles are in the trash bag. So the kid goes out there. Dopey kid, throws it over his shoulder, hits himself with one of the needles. Oh no, we gotta go to the hospital, blah blah blah. They do all that, right? The father comes out, Homer Simpson, and grabs the trash bag. Same deal, does the same fucking thing, then comes back in, has to go to the hospital too. These are the people I had to grow up with, everybody. Okay, so you wonder why I'm so stupid? Hey, I'm not that stupid, but you know. He almost the same father-son duo. The father, you know, they went hunting one day, and come back in the house. The father swings over to him and shoots the gun off and shoots a hole right in the kid's bedroom right next to him. There's still an indent. It went through. It was just nuts. He almost shot his fucking kid.
Hunting is stupid. Hunting is so stupid. Oh God!
Yeah, so he's essentially was Homer Simpson type person. I mean, who does that stuff? So, yeah. And that reminds me of Dean Ambrose.
Yes. All of that does. Just stupid
Surprised they
things.
haven't been sued sooner, to be honest. Maybe they have. They just cleaned it up. They hired Winston Wolfe from Pulp Fiction.
I remember seeing a photograph of one of the arenas on the big Titantron screen, just like saying, you can't hold us responsible. Keep telling the crowd basically to be vigilant for their own safety if people start flying towards them. This was like a year or two ago now, but yeah, like I say, I said earlier, I can't believe this hasn't happened before.
It's amazing. And shout out Mac Diesel in the house, Homer Simpson, of course, and Paladin in the house. And you all know Reezy, new name. He got bored, did something different, changed up his name, made it Japanese.
He went from being a Satanist to, I guess, a samurai now. What are we doing?
He's Reasonese.
Reasonese.
So yeah, back to this Rikishi business. To go full circle, he thought that Moxley's kind of in the right. His actual quote, the beginning of it, why would he be around the ring talking about the producer, that guy? Why would he be around the ring if he didn't have a damn camera or anything? What is he producing out there with nothing?
He had a camera. I swear in the video he had a camera. I might be wrong, but
Rikishi says no.
Rikishi's on some good shit. I don't know if he shoved his head up his own fat ass or what's going on with him.
And essentially after that, he says a lot more about it. Well, because he's got a podcast now, and he says to essentially get out of the way. If you're out there running around the ring and you know what the business is that you're a part of, get out of their way. Which I kind of agree with.
But the guy wasn't really in his way. Moxley really went out of his own way to push this guy down. He gave him plenty of room. He just looked at the guy, charged him, and threw him to the ground like a psychopath, like you see in this picture.
Yeah.
Is that what you saw, Danny? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that clip a bit ago. He looked like a toddler, just being like, I don't like this toy anymore, and pushing his Lego bricks over. He didn't accidentally just swing, and this guy happened to just be there and be like, whoops, that was on the side of my head.
So he must be really injured, right? Can't take things to a court of law and not be injured unless you wear the fake neck brace deal.
No, I mean, it came out, what was his clavicle or cervix or whatever?
Reproduction, or his vulva, I believe.
Jesus. That's a pretty, well, I mean, Moxley is the undead and superhuman. He died in the lake as a child and came back as a zombie killer.
That's right.
Well, I mean, his brain did, but maybe not all of him.
He's definitely brain dead.
Thank God Edge isn't around right now.
Because they can't go after him. There's a lawsuit, but Edge can get him in his dreams.
Imagine the guy goes to get his surgery. They put him out, right? They put him to sleep, and then Edge shows up. It's like, you fucked up, bro. You shouldn't have ever sued AEW, and then he takes him out in his dreams.
He's scraping on pipes and
that's what Tony Khan is probably preparing in the background. He's just asking Edge. He's like, can you just go in his dreams? You know he's going to be out for hours. You got plenty of time to get in there, Edge.
When they put the anesthesia in, just go get him.
He starts floating around the room and everything, getting bloodied up on the ceiling. The doctors are all horrified. But nobody can talk about it because nobody would ever believe him. Tony Khan knows this.
Yeah, the kids on Elm Street didn't believe him.
There's Cody Rhodes watching right now. He's so scared. What the fuck? Really? Really, Cody? Never lie to you.
Really?
God, I heard he might be turning heel soon. There's more rumors of this. And please turn him heel. Do something, because he's the most cringe good guy ever. And I don't even like good guys. They're generally all cringe to me. But man, this Cody Rhodes is, to me, the way I watch wrestling, is the biggest heel and the worst. He's the worst.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's right. Always comedic gold. Not just today, every day, Mac Diesel. Put us over bigger. Huger. Thank you.
Huger.
Or else send Moxley it to your house.
Yeah. What is that? Like a blowhorn he's got sticking out of his head?
Maybe, but it was the producer. Maybe that's the instrument he was carrying around the ring. A little squeaky horn or something.
Yeah. Moxley doesn't like those.
I'm just going to show this one more time before we get rid of it. Never, because I plan on deleting it by now. Well, who knows? Maybe I should keep it for the actual event. I keep calling it Crown Jewel, but it's Night of Champions. But yeah, apparently that's what he's going to be doing in Saudi Arabia, folks. He said so himself.
You know, a lot of people are liking the part where it says blood money covered dick, but I like the part where he's called him a
Yeah, that's
fucking
my favorite
dork.
part too.
Yeah. You fucking dork.
But you know, in a way, in a very real way, you know, everybody thinks CM Punk's a cool guy in all this stuff. He's not a cool guy. Like, again, in my expert opinion of what cool is not really giving a shit. Cool definitely isn't virtue signaling, like showing up to events and stuff like that, or holding up posters of politically charged messages about children and things. Like that type of stuff is fucking cringe. And CM Punk is the tattoos and the Pepsi tattoo and I see all that as anti-cool, kids. Get it? That's not cool. Why does everybody think CM Punk is so cool, everybody? Can you guys give me an answer? What's the deal?
It's always spoke his mind, and whether you agree with him or not, that's quite refreshing if people appear, at least at first, but then after time, if it turns out that's not what was going on. But yeah, just gems like that, and he's just been able to say things to people that so many others wish they had. Like his little feud with Vince. I say little feud. His feud with Vince. Just the way he was speaking to Vince McMahon. There've been so many people just been like, I wish I could have told that prick the exact same thing. Like just a lot of people that have worked for him, obviously, but fans as well that are just fed up of him or were fed up with him. So I think that's a big appeal to it. And the UFC thing, he never stood a chance, but he still, to be fair to him, he still went and got the shit kicked out of him by two different professional fighters, didn't he? So, yeah, it was never going to be anything other than what he got, and he still went in there, and I don't actually think he's ever complained about it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Paladin. Way better. I think it's just because, you know, if you're going to be so animate in picking sides in anything and getting involved in discussions, you can't turn around and do the opposite. You know, and it's like, and to me, it's this whole thing seems like it's a big charade. You know, I like, okay, maybe he is a cool guy and everybody seems to like him now all of a sudden. And I don't know. I don't buy that stuff. I would steer way clear of him if I was there. But I think that's because I'm a little older, and the people in the business, especially the wrestlers, if they probably grew up watching him, and it's like, oh, I'm not buying it. I don't buy it. So
I think he's a fucking dork. How about that?
Yeah, I think it's dorky to get all them stupid tattoos for what? You know, I don't know. There's a lot of things that are deemed cool these days that back in my day, if you're going to get all these tattoos and look like the Undertaker, you're usually like an Undertaker, a biker, a military guy, real fucking badass. I'm talking he's sleeved up. He's fucking, I don't like that. Okay. So that's one thing. Then the attitude. He can't get along with anybody. I'm big on mindfulness. I'm not like, you don't have to be super nice to everybody, but just be mindful. You know, there are other people living around you. So you don't want to, you don't need to disrespect everybody and what they, you know, whatever. You just don't have to be a dick, basically. It seems like he went out of his way with many people through the years to just be a dick. And these things to me seem to add up. people are very fickle in the wrestling business, both ways. So they're very you can get over with everybody, and everybody will forgive you if you just do business and you stop complaining. If you're going to draw money, so I get it, and he's good, and I like him being in my wrestling, especially like what he did for last night and everything. But again, doing the whole showing up at protests and stuff when you're one of the biggest guys in the company, I see right through that like easily. Just the same way Cody, Street Profits, Bianca, and all them are at the army thing for Trump and his stuff, and people want. I'm not being pissy about it. I'm not being pissy about either or, but I see what the company is doing by getting their hands into both markets, because those are markets too. It's not just politics. Yep.
And I don't even know if there's still a culture. And Doc, you remember it because, we met each other through going to shows and music and things like that. Back then, we're talking, 20 years ago, there was a big straight edge, culture going on. And all those people were the same. They thought they were better than you because they were like that. That was their whole thing going on. They were into punk music.
Remember the band spaces would always have straight edge shit on it.
Yeah. And those were the biggest fucking people you didn't want to hang out with because it was just holier than God bullshit. And he's one of the old relics of that era. Right. Where it was
exactly. You're nailing this. Keep going. Keep cooking.
But that's what it is like you got those like punk kids that are like, how I could be against everything is I'm not going to drink and I'm not going to do drugs and I'm this and that and I'm so much better than that band 2 doors down that are smoking weed, and you had to deal with that shit. And it was that's what he is, and that's it. It was really a lifestyle. Like you had to have lived it to really understand that type of person. But that's what CM Punk is. And he's proud to be that still, pushing 50 years old.
Exactly.
Where it's like, get over yourself, dude. That was a teenage mindset.
I totally forgot about all that. That is, honestly, that's where I think most of my angst here or whatever comes for CM Punk comes from, because I do remember that. Like, we were in our early 20s, so we were already kind of like partying and doing our thing because we were new to being able to just go out and buy alcohol if we wanted to. And then we would come to the band spaces and there'd be like graffiti and like people, all this stuff. And then we would see these dorks and be like, guys, you think you're cool? And it's not like I think I'm cool because I just brought a 30-pack to the band space, right? I'm just thinking,
I thought you were cool.
Yeah, right. Everybody at the time did if anybody did that. But, it wasn't even about that. It was just like, yeah, you really think you're better than us,
Yeah.
Okay. And then, it was so immature and dorky. And that's what CM Punk is. He is a 50-year-old version of that still, because he should be on our team. Like, we're looking at the younger kids going, but he picked up on it and used it as a gimmick and pushed it on. And that shit kept going until 2010, 2012 almost.
Yeah. I mean, he's not really promoting his character like that anymore, but he's still that. It's like having a younger brother and that younger brother seeing that you're into something cool and all that stuff, and they're jealous of it. And they said, well, I want the attention, but I'm going to spin it a whole different way, that I'm better than that. That's what that mentality was. It was gross. You had to have been there. It was these people you want to punch in the mouth. Did you have that
back in your day, Danny? I know you were in like a music scene.
Yeah. I don't think it disappeared. I think it was the start of what we've got now. It was just like the very, very beginning of it. Because, you get metalheads being like, oh, punk's crap, metal's great, and vice versa. Yeah. But you wouldn't necessarily... You'd get individuals, but collectively, it was quite preachy. And it was like one of those first groups that sort of like popped up that we've got now in extreme form. That would just look down the nose at you rather than just being like, meh, I don't like your music, but you don't like mine the best, so never mind. Yep. So I think, he, like you just said, he turned that into his gimmick, and he's just lived with that for all this time. So he's just going to keep doing it. Everything you said is spot on, but I will push back with just a lot of people, as well as saying that he's a dickhead to work with, a lot of people still put him over and said that they gave him chance to sort of like shine. I think it was Big E and Rusev both said at separate Royal Rumbles that, he'd pulled them aside and said, look, this is your big debut on screen or whatever. Make sure you come to me. I'll feed you. I'll make you look really good, and people can see your moveset and see how you work. And they both sort of like said on camera in interviews or podcasts, whichever, that they appreciated that. So I'm not disagreeing with any of the also being a shithead. And I'm definitely not going to like start defending CM Punk because, his T-shirts and his signs are just, there's no fucking need. Mm-hmm. And that's just not because I disagree with what he says, which is a shame, because like I said, he does have some qualities that I do find enjoyable to watch. But he's just pushed it a bit far and just needs to just leave it, really. But he won't, because like we've established that's just how they are, and he'll never drop that now.
Yep.
You know what it is? It's like if you have somebody that's really religious, and every time you're around them, they're trying to push their religion on you. That's what those type of people were like. Right. Is that you're doing everything wrong and we're doing everything right. So what we do is way better and we're above you because you do that. And they try to get you into their cult. It's
personality.
And they were very tatted up. Well, there's just about all of them.
Sorry, before that disappears. Yeah, people started with that. Like they had like the odd tattoo, maybe 2, 3, 4, and then it was like, well, you've got 3 on your arm, so I'm going to get a full sleeve. And then it's like, but I want more than that now, so I'm going to get both sleeves. And then it's like, no, I'm going to get a leg as well. And now it's just everyone just looks like they've got ink top to bottom. Or people going around with, I don't know, if so many facial tattoos around here, and not just like a little bit of something over an eyebrow, but just every day he's just seeing more people with like tattoos on the face, and it's like, that's a bold choice. I hope you don't regret that when you get older. Bloody hell.
Yeah, that's what everything is now, Mac Diesel. That's what this cult of politics is. It's religion to fill the hole in their soul. That rhymed. Yep, but remember the CSWNNs I used to do? That's basically the reason I was doing it. I was fighting against cults, and people don't recognize that it doesn't matter if there's millions of people in your cult or if there's 12 people in your cult. It's a cult, because all these things are ideas and indoctrination and stuff, and then it becomes like us versus them. And like when I hear people in politics say it, our side, I just want to vomit. How can you have a side if you're in the same country? You were worked. You just clear. Everybody was fooled. You all duped into thinking that you all have something invested in what? Against each other, so that the whole can't do anything. That's basic. And then these other people can do whatever they want with us in the whole country of it, instead of the individual cults that they have fighting amongst each other. It's all very, very silly. It seems simple to me, especially since I've gotten a little older, but man, I really wish the world would catch up, because they're doing it. I see people kind of like figuring things out real slow. And listen, I've been into this stuff, the conspiracy business, for 25 years. People still go, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, and try to brush me off. Conspiracy theorist, that term was made by the CIA so that you could do that. How about that?
Yeah.
Like, I do get what's going on. I may not get everything, of course, nobody does, but I get the gist of it, and I see how they work everybody against each other with everything, even pro wrestling. Look at how these kids talk to each other and getting in these little cults. Like, no, AEW is the best, or no, WWE is the best, and you must be a WWE shill, Dr. Huge, because you said this and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if that's what you want to think, I'm black and gay too. How about that? Anything you want to think.
I'm not gay no more.
Nope, not no more. And then I fight with them online. I'm not gay though.
I would not date a man. I would not wear a purse. I would not put on makeup.
Not me.
That guy's adamant about that. But the whole human race is
I was waiting for the
The
guy
whole
to
human
say
race
again.
is
That
just
was all.
people-
Sorry.
Yeah, again. But the whole human race is just people trying to one up each other. That's all it is. It's just everybody wants to be against each other. I'm better than you. You're not as good as me, and it's fucking tiring after a while.
Face to face, that's not necessarily the case. I didn't mean to rhyme, but on the internet, yeah, it's a shortcut for people to get that little bit of a rush to be like, haha, fuck you, I one upped you. Face to face,
Yeah.
that wouldn't always happen because you might get a smack in the chops or worse. So you're not just going to go up to people and just be a dick for no reason. But on the internet,
streamers
you
that
can
do that for a living now, they just go up to people and they're a dick to them for no reason.
That's not going to end well. Eventually, statistically, someone is not going to appreciate them doing that, and they'll probably stop doing that sort of thing for a while.
You know, in society, when they stopped, allowing parents to like hit their kids, I'm not saying abuse, but good smack in the back of the head, or tell them they're not good enough, or, people not getting trophies for being in third place and all this shit. Like, a lot of people need the feeling of a punch in the jaw, and then they might shut up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Mike Tyson said that a long time ago. The internet has made it that a lot of people forgot what a punch in the face is. And it could happen to you.
It reminds me of this past week. I'm highly into the Dabbleverse. I keep up with it to a certain extent. I mainly watch just like MLC, if anybody even knows what I'm talking about. Very small group of podcasts online. A lot of hacks, a lot of weirdos, but that kind of is what makes it interesting. So this past week, a prominent dabbler, Ski Mask, passed away, drank himself to death. And he's been doing it for years. Everybody saw it coming. Wasn't very shocking. But the thing that was shocking is this Mud Shark. Calls himself the Mud Shark. He knows... You've heard of these comics. Nick Swartzen from Grandma's Boy. Godfrey, the black dude that's been in comedy forever. Who else? A bunch of others we've all heard of, right? He knows of these people. He knows of Whitney Cummings and all this because he kind of came up with them. It's basic, but he's like online grifting, and these people are making like millions and lots of money, whatever. So he's always name dropping these people. I'm just giving you a rough outline of who this person is. But what he did yesterday was he was fighting with, these podcast wars with the Ski Mask character that just passed away. And then he ran a whole super chat grift goofing on him yesterday. And how he's dead and how it's amazing. And it's like, oh, we're celebrating. And I'm just like, this guy is gross. Like, this is so gross. And I'm not even saying the other guy probably would have done the same thing or whatever, but you got to show people that you're better than these things. And there are pockets in the internet, and they'll come in here too every once in a while, where they're just fucking insane. Like I guess they just hate their lives so much that they want to make everybody try to feel their pain. So they'll say and do the nastiest shit to people. But like, that was just an example I thought of when you're mentioning the types you have online. And that's what I was bringing up earlier in the show, Sleaze, when I was saying, like, do we need to like go and fight with people and all this stuff to drum up some business? But it's like, it's so gross, especially when it's a work. If it's real and authentic, again, that's fine. But
yeah, but when you're forcing it, the
guy dies and you're gonna grift what and make $50 off of his death.
Ugh. That's just it. And the internet has spawned this bullshit. Right? The dummies that just eat up anything and think, unfunny stuff is funny and all that stuff. They are the reason for things like this. It's gross.
And, I'm not against having a good time or goofing about things we're not supposed to goof about. It's just like the short I made this week of us asking AI about what Hulk Hogan was saying. Like, that's already getting way less views than everything else. And I know why. These algorithms are getting really good. I went on TikTok and tried to post Kenny Omega, spurting blood there next to the clown from Billy Madison. And they literally, they allowed me to post it, but they won't show it to anybody, and they put a sensitivity filter over it.
I don't get it because you see much worse online. I'm not getting this right now. What the fuck have we done? You know?
Get liking and subscribing, everybody. Pump this show up. Hit all the links. Go to the link tree. Hit all the links there. Subscribe, notifications, especially on YouTube. Need the watch hours on YouTube. I don't understand. We cannot pass 200 subscribers, everybody. This is insane. Still. We're at 197 now. I might get a subscriber a week. Really? How? And then again, I see these other shows online that do essentially what we do, talking about the same thing. Not the way we do it, but they fucking stink.
They're horrible.
I mean, the most boring shows. And they'll have like 10,000 subscribers. 200? I can't reach 200. I just can't believe this world. I can't believe it. Mm-hmm. That's why we all play video games, Paladin.
Yeah. That's why I masturbate so much.
Speaking of, do you guys have a list at all or a know of 10 games that are your favorite all time?
Bollocks.
I don't know if I have 10, but I do have a list.
All right. We'll hit me with some and we'll go game by game and we'll critique this because I have my list right here. We got to talk about something that I'm not going to talk about wrestling right now. We'll come back to that. We got a lot of wrestling stuff coming, but right now we're going to figure out what, because gaming now in the future, just, again, that stinks. It's the shits. Where's Brett?
Let's talk about it.
No, yeah, we will.
It's the shits.
It's the shits. And mainly a lot of my games are older games.
Yeah.
I was surprised. No Nintendo games. I didn't pick any Nintendo.
I think I have one. And it's a fucking classic. So
give us one, Sleaze.
So my number one favorite game for so many reasons is Metal Gear Solid.
Mm-hmm. The first one?
The first
Nintendo.
One. No, that was PS1.
Oh, there was a Nintendo one, but yeah.
There was, but this was like this started the Metal Gear like saga, and not I don't know what the fuck they called it before when it was on like Nintendo. But the first Metal Gear Solid on the PS1 was like, it blew my fucking mind. You know, just the mechanics of it, the whole, sneaking around, shooting people, and I loved every second of that fucking game. I remember they used to give you like a 10-minute like preview.
Oh yeah, the demos, yep.
Yeah, the demos. They used to give you the demos, and I played the demo like 20 times within like 2 days. And it was only like 10, 15 minutes. And as soon as that game came out, I bought it, and I was fucking addicted. I must have beat that like 15 times.
It's so sad. I heard Kojima's not with Konami. I mean, that's kind of old news, but they may be making a new Metal Gear 6, and it won't even have Kojima a part of it, which I don't even know how that will work. But speaking of Metal Gear, I have Metal Gear 2 on my list. The one with Raiden and all the crazy talk about AI and aliens and stuff at the end. To me, that part in that game is the greatest section of a game ever in the history of mankind. I was playing that. I remember I was like teenager still at that point. I'm playing it at like 2-3 in the morning, and then all that stuff happens, and it literally freaked me out. And remember, it made the remote like shake, and it would do like things in that game. But yeah, I love Metal Gear 1, but Metal Gear 2 was the one from like me the most. I love the villains in it. Everything about that game was just sick.
See, it was superior in so many ways, but when I'm thinking of like first times for video games, which made them my favorites, my first introduction to it was mind-blowing.
And that's what we're talking about.
So like
this
going
is our
on,
personal favorites, not necessarily what we think the consensus is on what the best video game. This is the best that we've ever played.
Right.
How about you, Danny? Any Metal Gears on your list?
No, but I did really like the first one. I played the second one and enjoyed it, but I just felt the switch to the other character sort of like deflated it in a little bit. I was more interested in like more of Snake, which you obviously got with the subsequent games, but at the time I felt like it didn't quite hit as nicely as the first one.
And before we get off it, Reezy had number 3 as one of his favorite games all the time because he sent me a list of his. So, I mean, that whole series is insane.
Oh, it's fantastic. I don't think there's a bad one that I played.
But what do you got? Do you got any other games for us, Danny?
I'll go with, you said SNES games, so I'll start with SNES games. I got Chrono Trigger.
I never even heard of that. I gotta write that one down.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Chrono Trigger, huh? With an H? CH? Or
yeah.
C? Trigger. What kind of game is that?
Turn-based RPG, but it's not as sort of like, here's everyone on the left, here's all your enemies on the right, big bar at the bottom like Pokemon style or anything like that. Squaresoft, Square Enix now, a bit of a dream team with the people set up. The guy who did the sound for it, it was like his first big gig for the company, and he worked himself into like getting ill and needing to go to hospital. So, yeah, Nobuo Uematsu from Final Fantasy fame stepped in to finish it off with him. Well, instead of him, because he was in hospital. But yeah, it's a really good game. A lot of people rate the second one sometimes better than the first, but it's not. It's okay, but it's nowhere near the first one.
Yeah, it sounds familiar now that I saw the cover.
Yeah, the SNES graphics are charming. The music's brilliant. And like I say with any remake, if you want to remake this game, go fuck yourself, because it's not going to look how it looked, and it's not going to hit anybody the same way that the original did. So port it, make it accessible, like properly accessible, so people can actually play it if they don't have a SNES anymore. But there's no need to remake fucking any game, really. Just port it. That's all you need to do, because then you can feel what it was actually like. If you start giving it decent or better graphics or modern graphics or however you want to see it, you're changing it, and it's not the same thing.
Yeah. I don't mind them taking a game and like just refreshing the graphics a little bit and still having the feel and the music and all that stuff. But when they totally remake it, it takes the feeling out of it.
Yeah, if they just wrap old 2D games with like a 3D model, but then just the whole game still just goes everywhere, that's a bit more acceptable. It's still changing something, but if it's like putting a Game Boy onto a 70-inch TV screen, that's going to fucking hurt your eyes. So they might need to do a little something. But that Legend of Zelda, which one was it? Link's Awakening, they took the Game Boy game and turned it into like some plasticine-looking colourful thing, and people loved it. I just think it looks disgusting. I think it looks absolutely abhorrent. It's awful.
How about any wrestling games on your list?
Oh, God, there's been so many that I couldn't really... I was trying to think of one, but I don't think they're in my top 10, though. They're fun and stuff, but...
I have one in my top 10, and I would have to put it WCW versus NWO Revenge. Because that was like the initial N64. The story behind this one, and I played it for 8 hours once I got my hands on it. And I went over a buddy's house with a bunch of other people, and we all played there with the 4 controllers. And we sat there and did Royal Rumbles literally for like 8 hours. And we were like, oh my God, we can't believe how good this game is. You know what I mean? And it was all the WCW guys, the Glaciers and the Ultimo Dragon and Hogan when he was in the NWO and all this stuff. That game, I understand how the other ones are probably better. You know, WrestleMania 2000, the other ones that came. There's a bunch of them that came after it. But that was the one that woke me up. Like, this exists. And of course, in those days, we were always like, these graphics are sick. And they look like blocks.
Well, that made me think of Bring the Pain. That was a good one, too.
That's an honorable mention.
That was one that, we used to fucking go to the bar and then go back and play that shit for fucking hours. That was a good time.
That game was great. That's definitely in my honorable mention set.
If I was going to put a wrestling game on the list, I'm torn between... I'm thinking older games than that. because I had a Royal Rumble game for the the Genesis, as you guys call it.
That
That
was
was
good
fucking
too.
awesome. I put so
Yes.
many hours into that. And then I also liked, was it WrestleMania? We've discussed it before, where it was a bit more like a Street Fighter sort of style beat 'em up. Like The Undertaker did his choke slam, slid across the ring, and Doink could get a big hammer. And it was a bit like over the top and not a serious wrestling one, but I enjoyed that. But yeah, that Royal Rumble one was, yeah.
Yep. Also another great game. Easily could be in there. But again, I couldn't play with three other people, and it was just different. Like, that's why I have it better. But I totally see what you're saying. And how about pro wrestling, the original from NES with the Starman and the Lizard Guy?
Oh God,
That
yeah,
was a great game for the.
I had fucking hours on that game too.
The old arcade game was really good as well. Like the old one where you could be like the Big Boss Man and Demolition and Warrior and Hogan. Was it WrestleMania? I can't remember what it was called.
I think it was like a WrestleMania something. I can never remember the name, but I vividly see it right now.
You could be Earthquake as well. I could love being Earthquake.
Yeah. How about sports games? Do you have any sports games on your list?
No.
I'm just wrestling. Isn't that, doesn't that count?
Well, you said that wasn't even on your list, right?
Yeah, but I just mean wrestling would count.
Yeah.
I like some football game. When I was really young, I liked football, soccer, and I had one of the John Maddens as well, which I actually enjoyed. We'd never played it at school or anything like that, but I got one of the games for my Genesis, Mega Drive, and yeah, I enjoyed that. I think it was maybe like 95. Oh no, it's maybe a bit older than that, actually.
I bought a ton of Maddens. One of my favorites was 97. 2003 was good. I mean, I bought them for years, but I didn't have one of them in my top games of all time. The only sports game I got is NBA Live 95.
Oh, geez.
Jam, yeah.
Ridiculous at the time. Like,
right.
You look at it now, it doesn't look like much. But for that time, I remember thinking when I got the game, I go, I'm not going to need another video game ever again. Yeah. Literally what I thought. I'm like, this is it. Like, I have this game now, and what else am I going to play? It was just, what a game.
The first 2 or 3 of those were brilliant. Yeah.
Yep. And
I have fun with sports games, but none of them are in my top 10.
The what's another one? I'm looking for my list right now. Again, I already forgot it. Out of the whole Batman series with Rocksteady or whatever that company is, those Batman games are amazing. And it's like playing in a comic book. So that's that series is in there, but if I had to pick one out of it, I'm going with Arkham City, which is technically the second one. And it's because of not only the DLC is good, but the side missions. It just makes it more like a comic book, because now all these side missions have like a boss at the end. The pig guy that most people don't know about, that like chops people up, makes different bodies. The Mad Hatter was in it, I think. A bunch of characters. And he's got one of the best rogues in all of comics. Him and Spider-Man. That's why those Spider-Man games are great as well. Yeah. Because they're kind of based off those Batman games. But that Batman Arkham City, that was the shiznit. And even the VR stuff where you fight in the other game modes where you can do infinity fights, against goons and things. Just chef's kiss to all that amazing stuff. And that was like at the end of gaming, like where games started getting bad was in the middle of that Batman series or towards the end.
Yeah, that's true.
Now games are just complete dog shit now. Like, have you guys ever tried Marvel Rivals?
It's horrible.
I tried it. I downloaded it one day. It's a free game, one of those. It's, got Marvel characters in it. I collect comic books. I'm into that. And I tried playing it, and I'm just like,
it's bad.
There's so much fast twitch movement, and there's so much horse shit on the screen. It's like, what am I supposed to be looking at here? I don't even understand. Then you just get wiped out by people that have been playing before the game even came out. And I went, uninstalled, get out of here.
It's the shits.
A lot of it is taken, like, anime fucking influences where there's a billion things going on and it takes you out of it. That's why I don't like a lot of fucking modern games. There's way too much just coming out. Just get to the fucking point and that's it.
I'll throw some moderns that are good. Cyberpunk 2077. I bought it from day one on PC. I didn't have that big an issue with it. I didn't have a big issue with it. I think the console really had the bad problems with it. But it was a good enough game. I finished it. I played it again after that. And I played all 3 versions you could play. It was that good of a game. And even their DLC add-on package, it was like $20 on sale. Another one, amazing game. Not in my top 10, but you can't go wrong with Cyberpunk. You can't go wrong with Dying Light, the original Dying Light. I heard they're coming out with a new one. That game is amazing. The nighttime stuff with the monsters out there actually gives you a sense of like you're scared playing it. You were trying to get away from these things. Dead by Daylight, even though I don't play it anymore, it had a good run. I played that for a good 3 years or so. And
yeah, that was a good one.
There's some good modern games. Overall, though, the old stuff is way, way better.
I'll make a comment. I've given up consoles. I think the last console I bought was probably the 360. No. It was what was the one that came after that, after the 360?
The one?
Xbox One. That was the last one I had. Yep. Yeah,
that was the last one I had, and it had the same problem as the 360 where it just fucking stopped working. And I gave up on consoles. Like everything I do is on PC now. It's way more reliable. You don't get the fucking hokey bullshit. And yeah, it's so much better.
The one part about all this I don't like, and we should speak on some of the bad shit in these video games as well, and the whole video game business, they're just hosing everybody for money now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like they're stealing from people essentially. And guess what? On top of all this DLCs and season passes and everything else, you don't even own it. We don't even own these games anymore. That's the only reason I would still like to have a console over everything else. But again, that's a whole nother grand. Literally just have a console with some controllers and a few other things. It costs so much money. Then it's fun.
That's the thing too. Is like the consoles every couple of years you got to buy a brand new one because everything becomes obsolete. Where you can't. At least they used to be able to, like if you had PS2 and went to PS3, most of the games you could still play on PS3 once you upgrade. They stopped doing that, and that's obviously for the money. So, and it's PC like every fucking 6 or 7 years I throw more RAM in it and that's it. Yep. or upgrade.
Yeah, because even with the PC games, they make them. These games are so stupid big for no reason, and it takes up all the space on your computer. It's just, come on, guys.
Because they don't make games anymore. They make giant 3D new worlds. And they think, because they go to university, the designers go to university, they learn how to make nice graphics, they make these giant worlds, but then nothing or very little of interest actually fucking happens in it. So you've got all these people now doing the same course, getting the same qualification, offering the same thing. Just look at the credits in a video game nowadays. It goes on longer than the fucking Lord of the Rings trilogy's credits. It's insane. And you don't need that. The game...
The new Assassin's Creed, I think the credits are like almost 2 fucking hours long.
2 hours?
2 hours long for credits.
Okay.
2 fucking hours long.
Oh my God.
You don't need that. And you don't need to make it look like it's the real world. People want escapism. DannyDamage.co.uk. One of the pinned things is how to play video games. And they're just filthy bastards. And just like Sleaze said, this is why you should really get a PC. I've never owned an Xbox because I've always known how to build a proper PC. So, sorry, but some consoles are still good. Nintendo have only recently lost it. Nintendo, with the Wii, I thought the Wii was just brilliant because not having to have your hands in the middle like this for a joypad and just the casual sort of like the comfort of here, and you could still just play as well. I thought they understand sort of like the experience, whereas the PlayStation now and the Xbox were just like a Fisher Price or My First PC, just wrapped in like 2-inch thick plastic and just there you go. You're not going to fucking break this, so keep buying the same fucking games we could bring out. And yeah, Nintendo, like I said, Nintendo. It's a shame they've gone where they've gone now. But
Yeah, for example, I bought a Ninja Turtle game, 15 years ago. It just looked cool. It was $10. It was one of these indie type games, and it looked really good. I'm like, well, I'll give it a try. I stuck it in there. I'm like, I'll get to it eventually, So a couple months go by, and I'm like, I'm going to try this today. And I go in to play it, and it's gone. And I'm like, where's my game? Oh, it's just gone. I had to literally Google search what happened to the Turtles game that came out in like 2012 or whatever. And it goes, they didn't have the copyrights to it or blah, blah, blah. And they couldn't use this or that. So I'm out $10 and I don't have anything to show for it. That's how this works. So that's when I learned that.
Bastards.
And I went, okay, so where's my refund? Oh, there is no refund. Cool.
That's great. Yeah.
So now anytime I buy a game, I just think to myself, am I throwing my money away? Do they even own this? You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Because again, it's in their TOS. Oh, we can just take games away from you. Hey, we don't like what you're saying. You can't play that game. Okay, great.
Yep, so
I had that
games
happen
only.
because I do it. Yeah. Yeah, I had that because I do a lot of my stuff through Steam, which is pretty good about that shit. But yeah, I think it was a good 10 years ago I had downloaded a game and all of a sudden it disappeared.
Uh-oh. Oh, you just cut out for a second. You're back.
When you're about to
Yeah,
say disappeared, you disappeared.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're doing it to me now, not the games.
What were you going to say, Danny?
Just physical games is just the way to go, and that's the same with all of it. I hate downloading stuff when all you can do is download. Some albums you can buy and they send you the MP3s while the disc's been sent in the post, which is great. Video games, I think it was the second South Park game, the Fractured Butthole, where I ended up paying like $60 for the American version just so I could have a physical copy of it, because they didn't want to sell a physical copy of it over here, because it was just like, no, we want digital only. And I was like, well, I ain't fucking paying you for something I'm not getting a copy of. Thank you very much. So I'm going to pay all that extra money for it. And yeah, they're just greedy bastards.
Mm-hmm. It's way too much. And I'll give you my number one game all time, but it's a love-hate relationship with this game that I have as well. But this, to me, if I was stranded on a desert island and I could only have one game, it would be Tekken. Really, Tekken 5 to be specific, but it's because it's such a hard game that you can play it like I have for 30 years and still be considered intermediate. You know what I mean? Like, you literally have to like give your life over to this game if you want to be good at it. And the way it looks, the soundtrack, the extras they generally put into most of these games, greatest franchise ever in my opinion. And I don't know, this new one, it upset a lot of the hardcore people because they just changed a lot of things or whatever. That's not even what I'm upset with. It's a fighting game. I'm getting my ass kicked either way by nerds that do this for 15 hours a day. But yeah,
fucking
those
dorks.
blood money, cover dicks or whatever. But the thing I'm upset about the most is they really are gouging everybody with Tekken. So they got the season pass now. We got DLC characters, and a lot of them seem to be coming from Final Fantasy lately, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. But can we take some from other fighting games, maybe? You know, if you're going to be taking characters into your game, maybe have them be fighting characters, not motherfuckers with swords and shit. So now, like, it used to be more martial arts based, and now everybody's got swords and electrical powers and all this horse shit, and makes it look like a Street Fighter even more. And I'm not trying to play Street Fighter. I'm trying to play people punching each other in the face kicking each other, somewhat realistic. The other major problem I've always had with Tekken, they have animals in their games. So there's always Kuma and Panda in it, and
It's the shits.
Total shits. I'll never play with
Mokujin, the bloody wooden Wing Chun
I don't
dummy
even
thing
mind
as
that.
well.
because
Right, okay.
the idea of Moku-chan is he's a possessed wooden being, that was like one of the fighting sparring things that they would use back in the day, but he plays as all the other characters. So you don't know what character you're going to get when you pick him. So it's kind of like a random character. But when you see the big ass bear, big ass panda on there, it's like, this is stupid. I don't like that. And but that's been a problem for all the years. But the main issue, again, I just went and bought 2 stages. I had to buy 2 stages and spend $10. I don't want to spend any money. I spent $10 just to get 2 stages I should be getting for free. Every time they come out with DLC packs, it's characters that should already be in the game. Like, there's a million people in Tekken through the years. Every game should come out with like 50 different characters. And you know what? If you want to make the game $100 and give me a complete game, make it $100. I'll buy it for $100. But
don't say that out loud.
Don't make it $70 and then make me pay for a 40 DLC pack, another 40 DLC pack. Now we're like fit $150, $200 by the end of this.
Well, on Steam, that's what they do, is they'll have the base game, right? And as you're reading the description and all that stuff, you scroll down and it will say DLC for this, DLC for that, DLC for this. Then they go, you can have the ultimate package that includes all the DLCs for $150. And the funny part is, so if you're a sucker and you go, fuck it, I'll get the $150. A week later, they say, well, here's another DLC, here's another DLC. And guess what? You can get the super ultimate package for now $210. And I'm the worst about it because I will buy all that shit. Like, I cannot, it's like I'm on heroin when it comes to DLCs, where I'm like, fuck, I got to get this. It's only $5. And then fucking $45 later, I bought all the fucking DLCs. Like,
I get burned every time I buy packs. So I just don't do it anymore. I buy what I want individually, which in this case, I'm like, I don't main any of these fucking guys you got out there that should be in the game already. So I'm not going to pay for that. I'll fight the other people that buy it. So I know how to fight them. But I already, 32, that's enough. Just give me the new stages, I guess. I'm going to be shelling out $5 every season to get a new stage. But I'm not paying for new fighters. Crazy.
See, mine's a different scenario because I don't really play those games. So I don't know about like a DLC for a character or anything. Like, I think I'd restrain myself. Like, I'm into this. Yeah, I'm going to be a dork right now. Fucking dork. But I'm into this game called Cities, right? Yeah. It's like Sim City, but it's way better. So they'll come out with DLC. Yeah, there you go. They'll come out with DLCs that are like map packs, you know what I mean? Or like certain districts or whatever that are brand new or make them better. So it's more intriguing for that kind of game, like a strategy.
Honestly, everybody
sort of
wants
real-time
a complete game. No, everybody wants all this stuff. I want to play with Hiachi and all these guys, but I'm not, it's just the principle. I'm not paying $8 for it. He should be in the game already. I already paid $70 for the game.
That's
when they're just fucking calling you stupid.
Everything is on these things. Everything is already on them.
Yeah.
And they've got to come around to my house and take it off me if they want to take it off me. I don't think they're going to do that to everybody. So I every opportunity I can fucking make to not buy something digital only, I will take. I am not, for this reason, because it's just like if they decided to shut down the servers one day, I'll decide, we don't want you having that game anymore because we're bringing a new version of it out and we want you to fork out $600 fucking dollars. They'll do that. And yeah, so people have tolerated it and they'll just keep raising the prices. People started paying for pre-releases like a year before games came out. People would pay for the idea of a game and like 30 seconds of footage, and that just set the standard for like the rest of the video game industry. Now we're in the shithole that we're in. As soon as people started going, oh yeah, here's like $60 or whatever, you've just told us this game's going to be about this, this, and this, but there you go, we'll get it when we get it. Or actually, no, sorry, they don't. They just go, this is the fixed date we're going to do it, so you're going to get it then, whether it's finished or not. And then you've got like a 6-day update on day one. And it's just like, why couldn't you just be patient? You don't have to take our money straight away, just chip away and make the game. But then it's just micro purchases has just increased. And enough people put up with it and pay for it. And this is the standard right now, $80 to $100 games before you start spending more money.
I
told you I have a problem, Danny.
I wait for sales. So I'm always like, I'm not buying Madden.
Yeah, me too.
It's bad again. I heard it's been bad. And then I'll see it for $20 and I'm like, it's $20. You know what I mean? Like, all right. And I get it's going to come out again, but I'm like, $20 for several months. Oh, I'll do it.
It's not just you.
That's the worst. That's quick. That's the worst about these serial, like every year video games is like they'll juice you for all the DLCs, and then all of a sudden they'll say, "Well, fucking 2K25 is coming out," and then they juice you again for all the DLCs. I get out of those years ago. I can't do it because I'm a sucker. I'll buy all the fucking DLCs, and then I'll get trapped into it and have to go to AA.
It's not just video games. With like tabletop stuff, they know how to fleece everybody. Just there's new factions,
really,
and new games coming out, and new paints, and
added on packs and things.
Yeah, or they just remake it and just add a bit more onto it and make it seem like you need to do this. And there's just so many different versions of different games. And then like all card games, they just bring new expansions out all the time. And with stuff that's random, like the card games, it's like watching people with scratch cards. It's just you see them just like bitting it and going and ripping it out, just being like, oh, what have I got? Because some people, a lot of people don't even really get cards to play. They just want to go on eBay and sell them, and it's just like gambling to them.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just didn't know how to just fleece everyone for all the hobbies now. So it's not just video games, sadly.
Comic books are terrible. They're like $5 a pop.
Yeah, and it's like the whole thing with them is like there's like five or six different alternate covers. So it's like, for you collectors out there, you're not just collecting one or two of the same thing. You've now got up to 5 or 6. And a lot of them aren't even that fucking great, to be honest.
I know some people like that are completionists. That's what they call them. And so there will, I'm not even kidding, there will be sometimes on some of these comics, it could be an indie comic, and it'll have like 30 different variants. And these people buy the 30 variants.
For every issue as well, not just like, oh, the first issue and the 100th issue, here's some special variants.
Some of these variants can be hundreds of dollars or upwards to. So you're talking about a variant here that's 25, a variant there it's 85. It's like, wow. And especially with the comics from this modern day and age, which completely stank them on the most part. They're super woke, super out of their minds. All they do is eat lunch mostly in a superhero comic. Okay, we're just sitting here eating lunch and complaining about Trump, basically. Not like I'm a fan, but do I need Harley Quinn in them like complaining about it during brunch? Fuck out of here. What's going on, William? We're talking video games. That's right. For a little while longer, because I still have a list here. I have to mention some of these. Halo 3, another one of the greatest games of all time. Xbox 360, that's their GoldenEye. That's what I would think. That's like the game for Xbox 360. The first time I ever played for real online with a lot of people, could hear him. That's when the headset started coming out, like for everybody, for the common man and all this. I was playing with so many people with Halo 3 that they would make custom maps, and then we would go play in the custom maps. No need for a Discord, no need for any of this shit. You turn on the game, people are there. It was great. So yep, I have to mention that one. And out of all the Grand Theft Autos, I put one on the list. For me, Vice City. That's the one. Vice City, just
Vice
the
City?
music, the way everything looked, you know. That was more, I feel like, that was for me. It's not necessarily the best, but for me, if I had to pick one of them to play over and over and over, it would be that one.
I like them all equally. I think they're all just masterpieces. Like I thought about the Grand Theft Autos, and I couldn't put one. It's the whole franchise is flawless.
Even
to me.
4 with the really.
I
That's the
loved
only
4.
one I never
Yeah.
finished. I couldn't get the main character.
Oh, I
just
did.
didn't. I don't know, something about it. Like I was like, yeah. After a while, I just stopped.
Yeah. No, I dug it. Yeah, he wasn't the greatest character. There was way better characters throughout the whole thing. But I mean, gameplay and storyline and shit.
How about you,
I
Danny?
liked
You
it.
got any Grand Theft Auto that you like?
Yeah, they're all enjoyable. If you just want to go and play and have like a little rampage and exploration, they're all really fun. I really like the first two. See, I'm just going to sound like an old twat again. I really like the first two.
The very first 2, you mean? Like
Yeah.
from
The first two in London when it was originally Grand Theft Auto, and then what we've got from 3 onwards, it's similar. It's not exactly the same, but to just judge it on that game and onwards, yeah, I can still see why people enjoy it. But I personally feel it just takes itself a little bit too seriously, and I know it gets daft in parts, but it was just a top-down fun thing for PC. Well, it came out on other things, but then when it got 3D and they go for the graphics, and it's like they make a big deal about who they're getting for the music, and it's like it was also tongue-in-cheek before, and it isn't the same. But like I say, I can see why people enjoy it. Stress relief, yeah, just go and have a rampage and just go fucking nuts. But I think the fact that they've got storylines, to the degree that they have storylines, is probably just a bit unnecessary.
Here's a hot take for you. I think that last one kind of ruined it in a way. And it's not necessarily the game did it. It's the people playing the game, because then they started doing these role-playing things. And then you had like all these rappers I never heard of making their own like servers within GTA and then selling their own currency to them for in-game stuff. And they were actually making like 60 grand a month just off of kids buying their in-game stuff, which isn't even yours. It just didn't make any sense to me. Like, how is any of this legal? But if I did any of this, they'd shut it down day one. I don't know. Everybody else gets to do all kinds of like criminal activities. I can't even do legal stuff. They won't even let me do normal stuff online. So I don't know how everybody gets away with it, but
all those types of games that are online with other people in real life and stuff, it's such a turnoff to me. It always has been, because I'm on to play the game. I'm not there to listen to your bullshit and some fucking 12-year-old telling me that I suck at the game. Or
it's easy.
I hate all that. I hate all that shit. My brother was big time into that. And I remember jumping in like during Counter-Strike when that was big. I jumped on with him and his friends and like other people that they fucking knew, I guess. And I was maybe an hour into it. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I just like to be alone with my video games. I don't want some fucking jerk off talking in my ear.
I remember when I was a kid waiting up being like, oh my God, the future's going to be amazing. We can play with people all over the world. And then I go on Tekken and I don't even play in ranked or anything. I'm like, I'm not dealing with these fucking people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all right, do your plug, Sleaze.
I got my QR thing here. Just take a picture and it brings you all my shit. At the SLZ52 on all platforms. Follow me. I'm trying to get to 1,000 friggin' followers on Twitter. Come and find me and follow me.
Him on Twitter, guys.
Jeez. These numbers up.
Hurry up.
Fuck.
All right, well, have a good rest of your day. And thanks for coming on.
Take care, dude. See you soon.
You too. See you guys later.
I got a few more games, and then we're getting back into wrestling, folks.
Can I suggest one? Can I suggest one?
Sure.
Okami, if you've ever played it before.
What? A Wii game?
Yeah, well, it's out for PlayStation 2 and PlayStation. They reported it for. It was originally PlayStation 2, then they made it for the Wii. You basically play as a god reincarnated into a wolf who was a heroic wolf from an old fable, and the world has been taken over by evil, and you have to go around different regions of the world, or Japan, sorry, and purify all the spirits from it. If you've ever played any of the Zelda games, if you've ever played Twilight Princess, where Link turns into a wolf, and you complain at like it felt a bit restrictive when you had to fight as a wolf, this is like that, but a lot better. You don't feel restricted. It's wolf just going around with a big giant sword, like two-handed sword in its mouth, fucking slashing things, whilst also like purifying the countryside of like evil spirits, and it's all water paints, and it's traditional it's fun, it's nice to watch, it's nice to listen to, and it's just like a really original concept of just like you go around fixing everything rather than blowing everything up. And it plays like a Zelda game essentially. You get like an equivalent of like a grappling hook, and then you get equivalent of being able to shoot arrows and things like that, and you need to use that to get to the different dungeons and stuff. But
I'll have to check it out. I like weird games like that because it sounds different.
Your magical powers, or your powers come from like a paintbrush. And it was like a button combination on the PlayStations. But then when the Wii got it, they used the remote control sort of element, so you see where you're drawing like different symbols and patterns on the screen. Like it pauses it like bullet time for the Matrix. But yeah, for example, so if it's like a horizontal strike, you just draw a horizontal line. And then you'll see that appear on the screen, and then you can like control the wind later. So if you do like a swirl like that, it represents the wind. You'll see the wind power come, and then you can also fight in real time with the big sword in his mouth and things like that. It's check it out.
Definitely, and I know you'll like this one. The other one on my list, Final Fantasy VII. You gotta everybody's got to have that on their list, right? 8? Wait, 7's the one with Cloud, right?
Yeah.
Right, that's the good one.
It's the popular one, yeah.
All right, why is 8 better than 7? Because 7's honestly, the only one I've ever played. I had the double CD and everything. Sold it on eBay for like $5 a million years ago. Oh my God, if I only had that game still. Jeez.
It's good, it's 7. It's just, it's the one that, it's like the entry game that a lot of people first find. I thought 8 had a better storyline. I like 9 better than 7 as well for the PlayStation ones. 7 was just like, it made that jump from a SNES game to, it was a N64 engine it was built on, but when it came out for the PlayStation, the graphical upgrade from the previous game was just so drastic, everyone's mind was blown.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff in 7 I always found was sort of like a bit of a hangover from 6's story. There's quite a few similarities with like Aerith and Cloud and Terra and Celis from 6. So I don't think it was as impactful, but if you'd never played any of them before, or even if you'd never played a turn-based RPG before, which that was the case for a lot of people, then you were just glued to it. So I completely understand why a lot of people pick 7. 10's a good one. 10's up there. And PlayStation 2, so that was the first one with voice actors. So that was a lot of people's introduction, and some people just couldn't deal with like text only on screen. I play 11 online. Go back to the online sort of like conversation. I've played Final Fantasy 11 since like 2007 now. You don't have to voice chat with people, thankfully.
Did you ever hear of the Final Fantasy house?
No.
So there's this documentary kid that has done a bunch of, he does like the weirdest documentaries, Down the Rabbit Hole, I believe it's called. You should check it out sometime. A lot of weird stuff on there, but it's like full 2-3 hour like long compilations of information that he's got on all kinds of like crazy topics. And one of them was a Final Fantasy house where this girl, I guess, almost like started a cult almost around it, and had people involved in it, like staying at her place, and she was being very they all had like names from the game and stuff, and very weird. Actually, the way this kid does it, Down the Rabbit Hole, go check it out sometime. I think that's what it's called. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's actually pretty entertaining. So yeah, people actually, they love that game so much they would build like little internet cults back in like 25 years ago around it.
Yeah, that's it's like a lot we've discussed before, like comics and video games and even wrestling. It has just attracted sort of like certain people that are possibly owning it for clout, or they're using it with like a different motive, and they just want to cosplaying and stuff like that on Instagram, for example. Lasses love attention for getting dressed up and being like, "There they are, lads. Who likes them?"
Yeah. Weird people that just take, like, we see this in wrestling a lot, or in this case with this Final Fantasy house, they literally take on the character's personality. Like, this is me now. And they really truly believe it's them. It's like, okay.
Yeah, we weren't always like that. I think the worst thing for the Final Fantasy franchise was doing the collaboration with Disney, making Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
If they'd have collaborated with Studio Ghibli, I always say this: if we'd have had a Final Fantasy cross Studio Ghibli game, that would have been like, just like fighting on the cat bus, and just.
I'll give you two more. That's all I got on my list that I haven't gone over. No particular order except for Tekken. Tekken's number one, and I told you why. It's just because it's so hard. I could play this for the rest of my life, and I won't be good at it. Fight Night 2004, I was never really this huge boxing fan, but I grew up in the 80s, and over here in the 80s, boxing was like the king. Like, all the matches meant something. The Mike Tyson era, Evander Holyfield, Hearns and Hagler and all this stuff. So I was definitely around the fight game. It was always on in the house and stuff like that. But when this game came around, this was 2004. And it was really like one of the first boxing games I gave a chance. Because other than that, I was Rocky, I think, on the old Sega from the 80s. Used to play that. And there wasn't a lot of good boxing games. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, obviously. But this one, I mean, I just remember the gameplay of it being so like perfect. It's like, if you move your controller like this, it's going to do it. You do this, it will happen. There was no second guessing it. You did it. It happened on the screen. You could create your own custom characters. It gave you the basic layout of how the future of a boxing game or anything would be. And it did it perfectly at that time. And for some reason, these video game producers and makers, they can't seem to go, like 2K, what was it, 5 for football? That worked. Let's just do that, but better. They just refused to do it, especially Madden. They took all the licenses away. No, 2K can't make another football game. And it's like, now we just get this shit out here that's like slop. So, Fight Night, awesome. Roy Jones Jr. on the cover. And the last one, but not least, Left 4 Dead, 2008, I believe. I for some reason, I'm really good at picking out games and picking out movies based on movie trailers. When I saw this game, I picked it up. I did the old flip around, said, what is this about? Oh, zombies, first person, cooperative. I'm like, this is going to be good. And I bought it for whatever it was, $60 still at the time. Brought that home, and I played that thing for like 2 years. Amazing game. Left 4 Dead 2 came out. I was already kind of out of it by that point, so I didn't really get into it too much. But that Left 4 Dead game, a cooperative, let's get out of here with all these zombies attacking us and all the weird zombies. One would blow up on you. You ever play that one?
A little bit, not a massive amount.
I used to play, the most I ever played with, like as a partner in that game online, it was a guy from the UK too. Right. He was always playing that. Every time I was on it, he was on it. So it was cool. And he would always tell me about how he was having meltdowns over FIFA. And I tell him about my meltdowns over Madden. And he would laugh. Like, he's like, oh my God, you do that with Madden? I'm like, it's the same exact thing. Yep. So that's it. And I mean, these are some great games, people. All the ones we listed. You got any more for us, Danny? Because you're giving us not obscure ones, but ones I haven't heard of.
Command & Conquer Red Alert, the first one. I put so many hours into that bad boy on PC.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy games now, but that was one of the ones that sort of like put the genre on the map for a lot of people. I used to love point-and-click adventure games, so I'm going to say Monkey Island 2, maybe Day of the Tentacle, that was a good one, or the Indiana Jones one, that was good too, Gabriel Knight, just so many good games. But yeah, point-and-click adventures, they were something you don't see much of nowadays, because they don't. Once they went from 2D to 3D with Grim Fandango, and I think it was the fourth Monkey Island, that was it. They just focused on making 3D games then, and point and clicks just got left by the side.
So if you had to choose like genres of video games, it's basically puzzle and RPG are some of your favorites, or?
Yeah, I like to be thinking whilst fighting as well. So like Zelda stuff as well, that kind of thing, because you've got puzzles and combat. A lot of films, again, I'm sounding like an old bastard, but a lot of films now, it's just like, yeah, you're watching a film and occasionally it'll ask you to press X to make sure you're still alive. And it's like, there you go, you didn't die. Well done. Keep watching this cutscene. You're doing really well. Here's another trophy. Aren't you great? Don't feel bad. Don't feel insecure. You have another trophy. Do you want to buy something? Here you go. Buy this new outfit. Whilst you're buying that outfit, eat Snickers. Yum, yum. And it's just like, what the fuck is this? This isn't a video game. It's just some advert that's been disguised as a video game. But that's, yeah, and a lot of games are like that now, sadly. So I'm just trying to stay away. Well, I don't stay away completely, but if enough people say something's good for long enough, then I'll pay attention to it. If everyone's just reacting to adverts and stuff and be like, oh, I've just spent 40 quid and this game hasn't come out yet, but I've spent it, so you've got to enjoy it too, otherwise I'll feel like I've wasted my money, then...
What are some games you play right now or have played, say, before the baby came around?
The second Zelda game on the Switch. Bollocks. Tears of the Kingdom. There we go.
There's a lot of Zelda games now, huh?
Yeah. That one's a lot better than the first. The first one was, like I said earlier, where it's like, oh, look, we can make this big, giant 3D world. And it's like, but what happens in this big, giant 3D world? And it's like, oh, we'll just get a Zelda license and stick the Zelda license onto that, and we'll use it to sell the Switch. And some of the Zelda games, they don't put a massive amount of effort into, and they are just to sell the console, like Mario and like a lot of the other Nintendo franchises. But Tears of the Kingdom did have a bit more to it, I felt, and it wasn't just... this is what this console can do. Please buy one. But yeah, that's not even... I think the SNES one, A Link to the Past, Zelda's probably the best one, and that's SNES graphics. Or even the Game Boy one. The story for the Link's Awakening was good. And a lot of other people will say Ocarina of Time, which is the one that came out of the N64, and that was... yeah, they went from the SNES, like pixelated graphics, to N64 polygons, and that was like... yeah, just the scale was amazing at the time.
Yep, God of War trilogy was great. Red Dead Redemption. If you're talking about some old games, Metroid, Castlevania.
Did you ever play Comic Zone with an X?
You know, I would always see it in the rental shops, and I would never take it because I judged the book by that cover. I was like, nope, never playing that.
It was good.
Really?
Yeah.
It looked so bad.
It's just, I got it for my Genesis.
What kind of game was it? It was a beat 'em up?
Yeah, it was like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. So like Streets of Rage, but instead of just going from left to right, you were in a comic book. You were a comic book artist, and your antagonist had come to life and put you in to your own comic. So then the antagonist of your comic was then just like drawing enemies to fight you. And you'd get to like the end of a cell, and you'd choose whether to go right or down or whichever. And there'd be different parts of the story. And you had a pet rat who, if you let out in certain places, it'd tear back at the back of the page, and like what items and weapons would fall out. And it was really good. There was no other game like it.
But you know what I mean, right? You looked at that. If you look at that cover, even like when I was a kid, I'd look at that, and I'd always, because it was always there too. And I'm like, how is this always here? It must not be good. So I just like.
Oh, it wasn't that sort of big over here. I knew a few friends that had heard of it, but a lot of people just, it wasn't massive.
How about Moonwalker or Shaq Fu? They're basically essentially kind of like the same type of game. I remember playing those. I had a Genesis back in the day, and I didn't have the NES, just the Genesis. This was my lineage. I had an old Atari from my brother. So I had that. It was the very first, and I barely touched that. Play Asteroids on it. And then got the Nintendo, Mario, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Link, because I didn't have it early enough to get the original Zelda and all that. Then I had the Genesis, PS1, PS2, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC. And that's been and then anything else, if I played Atari Jaguar, Sega Master System, my friends had that stuff. I had a buddy that had a Sega Saturn. That's the key. I remember back in the old days, the kids would get together with my friends, especially the ones that lived around us, and we'd go, okay, Christmas is coming up, something's coming up. I plan on getting the PS1. I remember that was like one of the last times I did. I'm like, I'm getting the PS1. You should get the Sega Saturn. Done. Right? And we would do that. And then we would ask our parents or whatever for if something big was coming up. Like if the big present is something, we want it to be this. And then everybody in the neighborhood would have something different. And then, because we were smart. Imagine we all get Super Nintendos like a bunch of idiots. You know, and then we come over to my house and do what? Play the Super Nintendo. I got it over here, you know? So, man, we were so smart kids. Not like today, they can't even write their names.
or use the phone properly. Or, yeah, my first computer was an Amiga 500 Plus.
Amiga, wow.
Yeah.
We had one of those video game type computers, too, back in the early 80s. I can't remember the name of it. Commodore. We had one of the
Commodore Amiga. Yeah, that was the company that made the Amiga. Oh, I had a Spectrum as well, a Sinclair Spectrum ZX. The last one they brought out with the tape cassette actually attached to the keyboard.
Man, this is the nerdiest conversation ever, but we're experts, everybody. That's why I had to bring this up. So
proper old games, yeah.
All right, back into a little bit of wrestling here. Goldberg. You know, he came back this week and he got in the ring with Gunther. He had the new T-shirt that looks like a caricature from like the 1980s, early 90s there. The bug eyes and all that stuff. Did you see the T-shirt this week, Danny? No. It's crazy. It's very cartoony, which it just almost doesn't fit. And it's just like, you know, Goldberg's last ride and he's on this machine, the eyes literally sticking out of his head and everything.
I'm just picturing Gilberg.
Yeah. So he comes out, takes it, you know, gets into it with Gunther, blah, blah, blah. They're going to be fighting each other like everybody already figured out at Night of Champions. And Gunther, he wrote afterwards, kind of trolling him online, goes, "Oh, I'm next? Well, I guess I can spare 3 minutes." Get it? I mean, a match in Saudi Arabia in the middle of summer, and it's going to be like 120 degrees there. Goldberg ain't going more than 3 minutes. What do you think? You think he went, 5 minutes with The Undertaker and almost killed him like several times?
Yeah, and it was early on as well. It wasn't even like he'd been wrestling for a while and then sort of like dropped him out of exhaustion. It was just straight away.
And the look on The Undertaker's face after that match, I'll never forget it. He's just like you got to be kidding me. This was the worst.
Gunther has to be just squashing him. I don't know why you'd want to work with him. Just even if you wanted to be really professional and that, just you'd look at the situation and be like, he dropped The Undertaker and that was however many years ago. And now I'm a bit heavier than The Undertaker was, I being Gunther. And is he going to drop me? Is he going to just repeat this? Why would you risk that? Well,
I'm sure there's
dollars, I'm guessing, but
yeah, there'll be no spots where Gunther is going to be upside down or anything.
Hopefully, but we thought that about The Undertaker, and look what happened.
He almost knocked himself unconscious. They said that was like the rumor before that match too.
Yeah,
you know, doing those headbutts on those lockers. You can't be doing that at your advanced age, Goldberg. Come on. So, hey, that's happening. Gunther's next. And I ran a poll if anybody wanted Goldberg back. 85% no. So I'm just thinking to myself, why is this happening? So Goldberg's coming back again. Is this specifically for Saudi Arabia? Because this doesn't make any sense to bring him back for an American crowd.
Yeah, the Saudi crowd the Saudi management just like demand certain matches. I think they've still got VHS from like 25 years ago with some things. But yeah, they'll just say, oh, we want this guy, and WWE just seems to make it happen. And then also they work their own current angles around whatever the Saudi lords want.
Remember the first time around they were asking for Yokozuna?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
You're like, we're right on it. Come on, we'll just call up Rikishi, have him dress up.
Yeah, they might fall for it. Yeah, I mean, at the time, to them, he'd only just beaten Bret Hart for the belt, so
He looked like he was limping out to Gunther this week too. He looked terrible coming out. So he does the thing, does a little kick, and then he comes out and he's fucking limping to the ring. It's like, bro, again, this doesn't make any sense. I get they've been building this up kind of, here and there with Goldberg in the crowd, and then he went on that college football show talking about he's going to have a last match. Does he really need a last match? Nobody's looking for this, except for maybe, like you said, a king or two over in Saudi Arabia. No, nobody cares. This means nothing to any of us unless, say, Goldberg squashes Gunther. Then everybody will talk about it. But otherwise, who's going to talk about Gunther beating Goldberg? We kind of all expect this. We think that it says last ride on his shirt. We know what happens in the wrestling business when a wrestler is planning on leaving. You generally lose. Remember, I'm sorry, Ric Flair. And kicked him right in the face. So that's what I expect to happen. Woo! And this is your going away party in Saudi Arabia, sucking blood money dicks with CM Punk.
Your brain is filled with feces.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Cena. Here's some other news. Because, I mean, honestly, I'm not talking about Goldberg anymore. Who wants to do that? Fire Def Rebel keeps going. Everybody wants to get rid of Def Rebel. They think they stink and they're terrible at making music for all the themes. And when something is deemed cool or people want to jump on board, now it's like that's why this thing has been building. People were booing Jordan Grace's new theme this week from Def Rebel on NXT. That's why I'm bringing this up. But I'm just thinking to myself, Fatal Influence theme makes sense. Sounds good enough. I mean, it's not my style of music, but I wouldn't make my style of music for them. And Braun Breaker's music seems good to me. I think that's a good song. I don't see a problem there. Damian Priest's song seems fine. That's like also a collaboration with a guy from Slayer. You got Penta and Ray Phoenix. I think they collaborated with a guy from Tool. Those songs are good. El Americano Grande or whatever. His theme makes sense, and that's fine. So there are some shit ones too. That Tiffany Stratton.
It's the shits.
Ooh, that thing is bad. And I get it. There are some others, but are we being too harsh, Danny? Is the people out here just trying to get rid of this production group? Are they really?
Even if some of the tunes are good, if they're still changing other people's tunes when they don't need to be changed, I can see why they'd get upset. I think getting rid of Jim Johnson when they got rid of Jim Johnson was just one of the daftest things WWE have done or Vince has done for a while. And the fact that nobody else has picked him up or seemingly made an offer, unless he has been picked up by somebody, but I think he was showing interest of just like, yeah, I'll do some work if anybody wants it. Yeah, I didn't particularly like the previous person that came straight after Jim Johnson. But
it was CFO, right?
That was it, yeah. $sign.
Oh, that was before Def Rebel, at least. CFO had some good ones.
There was a few, but a lot of it was just, they weren't like complete songs. It was just like a 15-20 second loop that they sort of they got the hook and that was it. So when you just listen to it on the YouTube channel or whatever, or if you're in the live audience listening to it, it was just the same 15-20 seconds just looped. Whereas you listen to Baron Corbin's first one or Jim Johnson's last one, where he did Baron Corbin's, the End of Days one, it's a fucking banger of a song. You know, just listening to the song on its own. The Bray Wyatt ones as well. His first one, before it was like heavy metal bands. I can't remember the name of the heavy metal bands, but that first one was a good song. That was by somebody else that Bray picked specifically because it was a good song, not just 15, 20 seconds of a hook repeated for 5 minutes. So I can see why people are criticising this new guy. He's not, or this new group, sorry. They're not completely sort of like useless. You've just listed some decent tunes, but I think the quality has just deteriorated over the last 10 years. How long has Jim Johnston
it's been a while now, it seems like. Plus, with Jim Johnston, it was one guy. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And you get Jim Johnston or whoever, just one guy that does music in a room with the actual performer and let them do it together. I heard that's how DX and like Stone Cold stuff came together, like their music, or is because they were getting some feedback from the actual wrestler. It sounds like these are just given to them, or they give them a list of like a playlist and go, pick which one you think is your favorite. And it's like, it's not the way to do it.
Yeah, I think it was Stone Cold that was said on his podcast years ago. Just he had like his discussion with Jim Johnston, just telling him like what his character is like, and Johnson just sort of like just starts to hear it. Just the music just comes to him and goes, right, so when you're walking down, I can hear this. And he's just like, da-da, da-da. And that's just how he dealt with a lot of people. And he can just hear that. Whereas now it's just, it's bloated, I think.
And even the DX stuff, I remember him saying that, well, they wanted something like Rage Against the Machine. I gave him Rage Against the Machine, you know?
Oh yeah, and you could when he did songs where it was like, right, so we want them to have this band or this particular song, but Vince doesn't want to pay the bastards,
and he still knocked it out of the park. That DX song rules.
Yep.
So get well, Def Rebel. They're after you. All the people out here, and who else is after people? Look at this. Look at this guy. That's Brody King in AEW this past week in Mexico with an Abolish Ice shirt. In Mexico, by the way. Just want to point that out. So, yeah, I mean, these are political statements. Again, this is a very touchy subject for everybody out here. And you know me, I don't care if it's touchy or not. I'm way above all this. And I'm not fighting with anybody over anything. But, hey, these people don't mind. And they're going to give their opinions and stuff. What do you think of this, Danny? Do you know what ICE is?
Yeah, that's pandering. That's what that is. Plain and simple. It's pandering. It's daft. We've said before with Punk, maybe you don't discriminate against half of the potential audience because that's just how it's politically split. Was it Michael Jordan that famously said, I want to sell sneakers? Why would I say my politics out loud when it'll stop me selling my sneakers to like the other half of the country? That's my opinion is that's a daft t-shirt, but just wearing t-shirts like that just to try and get that sort of a reaction is just silly. With the job they do.
Yep. And again, like I said, I'm above all this. Of course, I shouldn't be kicking out everybody. All right. That's not how this should be going. They shouldn't be going after everybody. You have to get the criminals out. Okay. That's all I know. If you don't think that you don't want criminals out of your country, you're a fucking idiot. All right. If you want rapists and murderers around you just because they can walk in your front door of your country. Listen, I get it. I wish that we all had a black flag and everybody was one nation and all this stuff, but that's not how the world works. All right, everybody. We have borders for reasons. And I'm not warring with anybody, but there are people in my country that are running it that are warring with people. So I need a border for myself. Get it? It's not that hard to figure out, I hope. But for some people, this is common sense, right? So again, I don't want them to go kick out, somebody's gardener that they need, whatever, that is totally fine and is a great person and whatever. we got to get these rapists and the murderers and good gang members and hoodlums and things like that. Get them out of here. I'm with that. So this T-shirt goes against half of what I believe, because on the other half of this coin, Danny, I also understand that they're going to be trying to get rid of a lot of people that don't need to be going anywhere. And maybe they even are here technically illegally, but you know what? They're making all kinds of crazy laws in my country right now where they want to get rid of people that actually have visas because they're talking about a foreign country, not even America. And we're not letting them in because of it. Think about that. So there's a lot of gray areas when it comes to this. And again, so when you somebody like a Brody King who is dressing like a home invader, wearing an Abolish ICE T-shirt, probably not the greatest message for the kids since they don't understand anything and they just deem it as cool, right? Because that's what they're being told by social media and everything else. So I hope I just broke it down for everybody respectfully and articulately enough that they understand what I'm saying.
There's quite a parallel to what's going on over here as well, and in other parts of Europe and the world. But yeah, it's silly if you're just going to go out and wear that. 'Cause a lot of, I think, what he's doing, it's reactionary. It's not common sense, like you said, but it's because the orange man said the opposite. And whatever the orange man says, even if he said the sky was blue, people just, they can't get out of their head that they don't like him. And they're just going to argue that it's not blue, it's green. So if, even though we said, like, let's get rid of all the criminals, let's get rid of all the violent, all the rapists, they're just going to be like, but you're wrong, so we want them to stay.
Yeah, no, I don't want them to stay. I don't give a shit. You know, I don't care if that makes me uncool to the morons. No, get them out. Easy as that. But do I want, like, again, I don't want everybody I don't want them putting guns on people and, random folks that have come over and made over here, like, legally.
Yeah.
Like, that's
legally, absolutely legally. The same thing over here. But if you break into a country and throw your passport in the sea or whatever, like they do over here, and that's breaking a law, that's a crime. So that's criminal. That's off your pop, because the people that do come illegally and pay the dues and, contribute and assimilate and get on with everybody else, it just makes a mockery of their efforts if you just let everybody come in and just do what they want.
Mm-hmm. And don't even get me involved in all that. Oh my God, there's so much going on in the world with all these this team and that team deal. I don't do that. I just and the thing is, that's why nobody really likes a lot of what I have to say, because I'm taking it all in the context and I understand. And I can't, if I tell anybody this, then they try to take all my channels away, So I think I'm hitting on things. I think I'm kind of in the ballpark. And that's why they don't want me to have a silly wrestling podcast, because I might randomly here and there talk about, world dealings in the same way I do about wrestling, because a lot of it's a magic trick. Look over here, and then they do all kinds of stuff over here. Look over here now. You know what I mean? Oh, no, these guys are the bad guys. This is what I've been hearing all week, Danny. I can't take it anymore. These guys are good guys, and these guys are the bad guys. This is what they've been doing in America on the news, like the stupid fake news all week long. It's these guys are good guys, and these guys are bad guys. Get it? Like we're all like kindergarteners. Oh, okay, you're a good guy and the bad guy. Got it. Like what? Yeah, it's just too much. And then in the meantime, they're all hypocrites, right? They'll be like, oh, well, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. Oh, maybe I am. Okay, do whatever you want. Again, just don't try not to get me and everybody I know involved. Thanks. Yeah. So he's abolishing ICE, and Braun Breaker came out this week and helped Bronson Reed beat up on LA Knight because they had a match for I think it was a King of the Ring or something. I don't know. They're just fighting with LA Knight. So Bronson Reed, that match went nowhere, of course, because Braun Breaker got involved and started beating up LA Knight, tsunami'd LA Knight to death. And then So, SmackDown just goes on and on and on. That's how it feels. I don't even. There's so much that happened last night, but really nothing happened. So, for example, right on last night's SmackDown, there was, as a tweeter out here pointed out, I'm stealing his tweet, but this is not my own thoughts. But I said, yeah, this kid's right. No Carmelo Hayes, no Ray Phoenix, no Wyatt Six, no tag teams at all, no Julia. Like, that's a lot of big time players on your roster, and none of them were on the show last night. It's one big advertisement fest, and blah. So Charlotte took on Chelsea Green. Okay. Things happened. Charlotte almost got injured in that match because Piper Niven jumped on her while she was doing her figure eight and almost jacked up her knee again. That's all I got out of it. So SmackDown's a lot of that. Then they'll give you the LA Knight business where you get tsunami'd a million times, and then Cena comes out at the very end. And I can't watch this. I shouldn't be watching this stuff anymore, Danny, huh? Like, I can just watch highlights.
Yeah, that's what the YouTube channel's for.
Jeez. This is sickening. There's too much wrestling. They can't even fit some of their biggest stars on the show.
Yeah, 3 hours twice a week is a lot. And especially when you've only got like a couple of really hot things to push. But then when they've got more than that, 2 lots of 3 hours, because they do everything else and everybody's on everything else, it's just like, when do you switch off? How do you miss it if it's like just hooked into your veins 24/7?
Exactly. You can't digest it. We can't like really go over it. And why is LA Knight getting smashed? Because he's fighting with Seth Rollins. He came out at the beginning of the night and said, Seth Rollins, get down here. And then Paul Heyman came out. Nothing came of it. Eventually had his match with Bronson Reed. They beat him up. The end. Like, this wrestling stuff, there's not a lot to it. That's why I brought up video games before, and we're going to bring up other topics in this show here and there. Because, I mean, what now? Like, okay, who cares?
At least Vince McMahon isn't still here to underutilize LA Knight. That's all I can say.
That's true.
So happy.
At least he's on TV. I'm good with all that. I like LA Knight and I love Seth Rollins, and them both feuding right now. I'm cool with it. I'm just saying the excitement level to these things are so like Solo and Jacob had a whole big segment where it's all this emotional stuff, and Solo keeps trying to get him back into the crew. Oh, I love you, Jacob. I love you, and I'm the one that brought you in, and blah blah blah. And then Jacob's like, you brought me in just because to get yourself over as the tribal chief, and the blah blah blah. And it's okay. And then now they're fighting again, and they're gonna fight for the U.S. title. I get all that, but the way that they're getting there in this, if you're gonna do a soap opera thing, let's do it. Let's get stupid. All right, let's not be boring about it. And it was very boring. A lot of the creative out of WWE lately, it's just, if you're going to have 50 hours of wrestling a week, there has to be moments for your big players to really, for them to be recognized more than anything else. Like, how am I even thinking about Charlotte versus Chelsea Green before I even talked about Solo and Jacob? It's because nothing is really happening on either end. So it's like, get some things together, get it going, WWE. You guys are boring lately. So fucking boring. I don't know how else to say it. It's just this stuff. There's so much wrestling that now, if you're going to have all of it, you got to really shock and awe us. Doing the same thing over and over for hours on end. It's like white noise. I'm thinking about only watching the PLE and YouTube highlights. I'm tired of the ads, to be honest. Same with me, Paladin. I mean, you know how many times a commercial hits, I go and make a sandwich or something, go get a snack and a water. I come back, the commercial hits again. Because they come back from commercial, they do a little bit in the ring, and then they're done. And I'm like, wait a second. I tried to get away from this. And then last night, here's something for you, Danny. So Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso in the ring, all at the same time sucking each other's dicks, right? They're all the greatest wrestlers. Oh my God, we're all in the king in the ring. We all might win it, right? Because we're all so good. And I'm all sick of that. Randy Orton and Sami Zayn have their match. Randy wins. And I don't even know what my point of this was now, but it bored me to tears. Like all these good guys in the ring, and none of them are really cool because they're all trying to put each other over. Oh man, Jay was out there first. Cody comes out. Jay's like, "Oh man, you're great," and you're blah blah blah. And oh yeah, you're great, Jay. Sammy comes out. "Oh yeah, you're great, Jay. Remember when I told you I had no reason to be at WrestleMania, but I wanted to just go watch you." Blah blah blah. Randy Orton comes out. "Oh yeah, you're great though too, Sammy." Blah is like, oh my God.
Someone in the crowd just shouts, "Throw a fucking punch!"
Yeah, do something. You know, like come on, guys. And I'm just done. I think I'm done with it. I think I'm probably not going to tune in to SmackDown anymore. Highlights. I can still be an expert. Watch the highlights Saturday morning before the show. I'll know just as much as I watched last night. Monday Night Raw, 2.5 hours every Monday. This Raw was brutal. It was bad. It started, okay, so they gave us Io Sky. They're like, oh, everybody's talking about Io Sky isn't just backstage the past month. Nobody even knows like what she's doing, hasn't been in matches. I guess she started it off. I don't know. I missed the first half hour of this week's Raw. Again, because I'm like fading out of it. Asuka shows up. Something happens with that. Cares. Asuka, they didn't even let her surprise us. They told us she's coming back for the Queen of the Ring. Everything about the WWE right at this moment, this very moment. I'm not talking about months ago, years ago, or what's going to happen in the future. Right now, WWE.
It's the shits.
It's the shits. Overall, you have I mean, if I'm going to tune in several hours of WWE a week and there's 30 minutes that I want to watch, and primarily the best wrestling I've been seeing is on NXT. How does that make any sense? How is that the better show than Raw and SmackDown with these guys and girls? But it is. So I'm watching NXT, and I think I'm probably getting rid of Netflix because why do I need to pay for? I hate paying for anything, Danny.
No, you do right. I know loads of people that are starting to get rid of the subscription services because they're just like, again, like we talked about with games, you don't own the stuff. And even though they're paying very little, people are like, I don't feel like I've watched stuff because I just smash so many things just without giving a chance to digest and think about, and I just on to the next thing. And even if people can't explain it properly, they're sort of like seeing a pattern where they're not enjoying the things anymore.
Who knows? Maybe I'll start watching a little AEW on a Wednesday night, because when Wednesday comes around, after 2.5 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Tuesday, but Wednesday, another 2 hours, I'm like, nah, I don't even bother watching it. Then people are like, why don't you watch TNA on Thursday? I'm like, no. And then you got 3 hours Friday. Yeah, I think I might need to back off a little bit, because until they start doing something good or thinking outside the box, really. There's no thinking outside the box with this wrestling.
You won't miss it. I mean, like I said, I haven't watched anything since WrestleMania. I didn't even watch WrestleMania properly. The first night, Jey Uso came out, and by the time we'd got to the ring and Michael Cole had done 2 live reads, I was like, fuck this, and I skipped to I left it for about 6 hours, and then I watched the main event, and then the next day I watched the main event. So I've not watched anything since WrestleMania, but I called the R-Truth thing, and we've all guessed quite a lot of stuff, and it's just very repetitive. It's not very. We're not expecting like the cinema meme every bloody segment, but it's like they're not trying, and that's embarrassing when they've got so many people who are actually writing for this show. Vince and his book and his 2 or 3 side guys. just booking stuff was just a lot sharper. And yeah, they didn't have 10 hours plus to write each week, but something needs to change.
Yeah, there's a lot of yeeting, a lot of commercials. Everybody's asking for Vince back. Some people are pushing back on that.
I wouldn't go that far, but to at least acknowledge that, the grass isn't greener necessarily, and Triple H isn't bulletproof. But I wouldn't say we need Vince back.
Man, people are really upset with this Vince still. I was reading an article this week. He was looking at buying a bare knuckle fighting championship or whatever they call it.
Right.
And of course, the guy said he didn't want to give him creative control. Like, how do you give him creative control? Like the bare knuckle fighting, like there's something to this. So he turned him down, but then he said, Vince is like a great guy, and man, he's really business minded and blah, blah, blah. And I'm reading this article, and in the article, it's like, he called him a great guy, even with the allegations and everything. Like, I'm like, and it's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, people are really going to hold on to this as like this was a serious matter, and he didn't just have a hoe on his payroll. What?
No hits.
Are we not all adults? You didn't. Do we really not understand what this Vince McMahon matter was? That he's paying a high-priced something, and the money stopped coming in for whatever reason from her boyfriend, and then now he's in a lawsuit. Like, she's a grown-ass adult.
Oh, sorry. Hacksaw Jim Duggan impression. Sorry.
But I don't. Am I wrong? Is she not an adult?
Yeah.
Was she 15? Okay, there might be something wrong with that, Vince. Because when I first read that story, I was like, oh, she must be like 19 years old or something, right?
They gave that impression. They definitely gave that impression.
Yeah. And you learn she's 40. And now we're going to think, oh, Vince McMahon is the worst person in the world because, I can't get the shit out of my hair. Okay.
There's plenty of other instances. The one before that was the massage parlor girl, where he'd either asked her to do something or he'd grabbed her ass and then asked her to do something. But also, again, DannyDamage.co.uk, search for Vince McMahon. There's an article there. There's loads of things that I've written, that Vince has done that people know. That's public knowledge. You don't need to make stuff up. So this is why it's like sad, because there's plenty of stuff people could have spoken out about, and if this is someone from the inside trying to like get him out of the company, why not speak up sooner? We know why he didn't speak up sooner, fear, but still, it's they're fighting slippery with slippery, in my opinion, and then everyone just ends up slippery.
Yeah, maybe I'm just wrong, Danny. Maybe I just need to be a female to really understand these things, but I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a female that would be around Vince McMahon. He goes, hey, Dr. Huge, you want to do this and you want to do that, and he'll grab my hand and like put it on his privates or something, and I'll go, no, I'm not going to do that. The end of that story.
What if I shit on your head, pal?
You think he's going to keep me around if I go, ooh, no, thank you. I'm not here for that. But if you go, oh, this is okay. Oh, okay, what do you want me? All right, maybe I'll do this. Okay, I'll go sleep with that guy. I'll sleep with that. I'll get shit in my hair. All right. And then you get money for that afterward, like extra money? Like what? I don't get it. I think that people that are adults should be able to get themselves out of these situations. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, was Vince McMahon was he keeping her in a dungeon? Is that what was happening? I heard he was trafficking her because, WWE does travel all the time. So 40-year-old woman getting trafficked by Vince McMahon. We really believing this?
She wasn't like she's publicly like the side piece of Vince. Like when they gave her a job for WWE, people apparently knew that was Vince's new side piece, and it's just like, yeah, she's got a job, so let's just accommodate what's going on. And even apparently Stephanie knew. I'm not saying she approved of it, but
Right.
people knew and just was like, "Yep, that's what happens."
My thing is, I'm all about if you're doing something criminally wrong, then that should be something. But if you're just doing something where you're just being an asshole, it's not against the law to be an asshole. And again, it takes two to tango. She could have just said, "No, thanks, Vince. You're a little old for me, and I know you got a lot of money, but I don't need it that bad." Maybe she did need it that bad. I don't know. But either way, I don't see Vince as like this great Satan or anything that is controlling all this and having all kinds of whores. And maybe he is. Maybe he is, but I don't know. It's just weird. It's just like a video I saw this week recently where this guy got taken out of not a cardboard box, but like this makeshift thing in the city where he was in there with some street lady, and they're arresting him. Exactly. They're arresting him and putting his hands behind his back, and she just walks out and walks away. And it's like the cops don't. It's almost like they're using her as bait. You know what I mean? To like bring guy after guy into the police station. So I'm like, okay, so why do they get away with everything? So I can be a woman in Florida and put a kid in my trunk that I just chloroformed and go party all night, and I don't even get in trouble for it? That's where we're living in over here, Danny. Like, they don't do any wrong, apparently. So it's just this Vince McMahon story blows my mind, how that he could have everything stripped from him because of a lady.
Mate, we're not allowed to talk about most of the stupid shit that's happening over here at the minute.
Oh, that's right. They made it illegal.
Yep.
Well, they're trying to do that stuff over here.
We have blasphemy laws now.
Do you actually have? Do you really?
Yeah, that guy that burnt the Quran got charged.
No.
Yeah. I believe the guy that was attacking him with a knife as he was doing it didn't.
Oh, wow.
I might be wrong with that, but still, that's just people were like, "Oh yeah, we don't care about that. We care about." He burnt his own property.
Very logical.
He bought a book and said that was his.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not focusing on the guy that attacked him with a knife.
Man, I love the religions, bro. Especially the Abrahamic religions. Oh man, some of the best. The best.
But picking one individually is just that's too difficult because they are all so good.
Oh, they're all three of them.
Yeah, you can't pick just one. I'm afraid it's just stiff competition.
The world is so crazy. And then I look at Ava every friggin' Tuesday night, The Rock's daughter. And she had Blake Monroe come out, who is Mariah May, actually. Her new name. Right. She did her contract signing at the end of the night. And then she got put through a table by Toxic Attraction, or whatever they call themselves now. I think that's Toxic Attraction. Yep. So 3 girls came out, beat her up, put her through a Slim Jim table. And that was that. That was her welcome to WWE. And then the next day I saw Triple H, schooling her, kicking game to her, so to speak, in the performance center as if she doesn't know what the hell's going on. So I thought that was...
Did he do that photograph where he does that?
I don't think he did one of those yet. That's soon to come, I'm sure, once she wins something. But yeah, I thought it was funny. On her debut, her big contract signing, she gets jumped. Yep. And what else happened? A few more notes. I won't keep you too much longer, Danny. But in the meantime, if you haven't shared this broadcast, if you haven't come over to YouTube and given us some watch hours over here, I'm telling you, YouTube's fighting against this TikTok. Let's fight the power and join the Dr. Huge Show every week. I'll be posting these as audio podcasts on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, if you got them things. So go check it out there as well. Go sleep. Sleeping to this show is what's best for business. I just learned this. I used to sleep to a lot of Howard Stern, Eric the Midget in particular. But sleeping to this one's pretty good too. You get some chuckles before you go into dreamland. Yep. AEW Grand Slam happened in Mexico this week. They had a PLE there. Or it must be some kind of a special. The Abolish Ice guy came out, as we talked about. But also MJF dressed up pretty much like El Grande Americano. Did you see the pictures of this?
No.
Luchador mask, American flag outfit. Yeah, it was something. It's on my thumbnail on the show, so we're talking about it. So you're getting all the facts right now. Definitely talking about it. What's up, Danny the Genius? The Genius. Yep, so that happened.
No poems tonight, I'm afraid.
But again, there's just too many wrestlers.
And too much wrestling. How long was that pay-per-view? Like 8 hours?
They had a 4-hour AEW, I think, the week before this, right? It was four hours long, and this one I think was 2.5 hours.
But then there'll be like half an hour or an hour pre-show. There'll be like an hour or an hour and a half, 2 hour post-rugby scrum thingy mabob, where Tony just gets to talk about all the toys that he just played with. So it adds to it. And
a few other notes here. Corey Graves back on Raw, so we don't have to see Fathead for a little while. I was very excited about this. Haven't talked about McAfee in weeks because we got Corey Graves back, so that's cool. Charlotte, really good quote this week. Love this quote because she's pretty accurate when it comes to this. She says, the North, he's talking about the fan base, right? Wrestling fans. She goes, the Northeast fans, you know where Dr. Huge is? Very smart, some of the best. Chicago, though. Chicago.
It's the shits.
You guys stink. And I don't know, maybe she's right. I'm not sure about Chicago. I know they have a pretty lively crowd. But I know CM Punk is also from there, so maybe they're all like CM Punk, right? Maybe. I'm looking at you, Michael Berry Sr., who never comes into my show anymore. I'm coming after you next. But you'll never know because he's not here. So Charlotte is definitely going to get a lot of heat for this when she's back in Chicago. And come to think of it, I think the last time she was there was when that Tiffy angle happened. Remember when she said, like, you fail at marriages or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
And that's probably why she doesn't like you, Chicago. Get it? I get it. What else? Oh, they had a Fanatics thing yesterday with WWE. They kept showing videos of celebrities and athletes doing entrances, and it was cringe. I mean, I love Tom Brady, of course. But, man, Tom Brady came out, ripped the Eli Manning jersey. Eli Manning came out, jumped on his back, and he basically gave him a piggyback ride to the backstage. And I'm like, what are you guys doing?
It's the shits.
This is stupid. You know?
You can go and get, like, your own entrance sort of, like, done there, can't you, and film it. And, yeah, it's great for kids, but it's one of those things where you end up with, like, adults, like, lining up and then just, like, drawing the whole process out. So even, like,
Guess who Brady came out to?
Go
Cena.
fuck yourself.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Go fuck yourself.
CM
You know
Punk.
who that is.
Cody.
Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I saw the clip because he even like acted out the little routine as well, didn't he?
Hated it. Oh, I forgot. I'm not gay anymore.
I'm not gay no more.
Let's see how these other drops work. I just pulled them this week.
I don't like men no more.
I don't like mans no more.
It's the line from the Book of Mormon. It's the line from the Book of Mormon. The yay, my hetero side won.
Imagine you thinking you can pray the gay away. Like it works like that. You know what I mean?
I love black guys.
Didn't work with Moxley like that. Yeah, it's probably why he's got so much pent up anger. He takes it out on all the producers, right? Right, Mox?
I love black guys.
There you go. Anything else from you, Mr. Preacher Man?
I thought I like women.
Women.
I'm not gay.
Okay, we got it. All right, I don't need these 3. I just need these ones and this one.
I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup.
Well, I got a few other new ones. Let me find it. Oh, I got the Braun Breaker woofing.
This guy is fucking stupid.
That's right, George. And here's this for news. The Rock, supposedly, I read this through a site, so dirt sheet business. The Rock has gut issues and had a heart scare, just like Triple H. Isn't it weird all these guys have gut issues and heart scares? What could that be from, Danny?
Perhaps. Right, so Triple H was like seen as a bad guy before, wasn't he? And then people sympathised with him because he had a heart event or cardiac event. The Rock has now decided to also have one of those and hopes that people will now warm to him in a very similar manner and they'll stop being mean to him and stop laughing at his shit films.
Maybe. Maybe.
Or it's for like not reading instructions on pharmaceuticals. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. What could I possibly know?
I don't know. I think a lot of when I looked up what are some things that cause diverticulitis or gut problems, and they're like, I think it's steroids. Yeah, what else affects your heart like this? Steroids. Also, don't forget the Fauci ouchie. That also can give you some problems, I've heard. But, I digress.
But no, I didn't actually. I'd not heard that. But yeah, that's sad if he's properly ill and everything. He might be a prick, but I don't wish.
Of course.
Actual.
Yeah. We don't want any of these guys getting sick. Like I said, my brother even texted me yesterday and goes, John Cena's got cancer? And I go, what? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would have heard of it before you did. You know what I mean? Because he's not like in the wrestling stuff at all. So I'm like, everybody's getting these fake stories. I'm telling you, this AI business, I think, is going to have a hand in this, where people are going to be so bamboozled out here that it's really going to affect things. That girl from Toxic Attraction, the cowgirl one, they said that there was a rumor that she was sick, and there was a post from her saying how she was diagnosed and blah, blah, blah. And then come to find out, she's like, no, I'm fine. Like, why is everybody coming up with these stories? A weird one. Remember the I want to delete Roxanne Perez account? That showed up again early last week and took a picture of a girl through a window. And it kind of looked like Roxanne Perez. But then people are like, oh, my God, who, is this you? Because that account came back. And they deleted it again, of course. But she's like, yep, that wasn't me. But then later on in the week, she deleted that post that it wasn't her. So was it her?
It is the sort of thing I suppose you would say to try and be like, yeah, that wasn't me, you creep. That wasn't the gym that I always go to or the bakery that I frequent. Or so maybe, yeah, you would say that. But
yeah, that's definitely.
People need to fucking wind this shit in because someone's going to just like someone's going to pull something out of the purse and that person's head isn't going to be there anymore, sort of thing. Because Sonia Deville had that guy turn up at a house, I think it was, and just there's loads of lasses having problems with people turning up at airports. And how do you know someone's going to come and ask you for an autograph, or how do you know someone's going to be an absolute nutcase? Yeah, people need to dial this back.
Stay away from them altogether. And that way, the ones that don't stay away, we can go, okay, they're the bad ones. Get it? Because why can't anybody... You can be a celebrity and be able to go out in public and not be approached. You don't have to approach all your favorites, all right? It's not... If you're at an event, you're at a con, you're at one of these stupid fanatics things, that's where you do it. That's where they want you to do it. That's why it costs money to interact with them. To see them out in public, I mean, I get if it's different. Like when I go to some SmackDowns, I have them in a casino and the wrestlers stay there. So if they're walking around the casino, hey, you're in and around the fans. Take your pictures. I remember seeing Alexa Bliss. She did that. She was taking pictures with people and stuff, but she was getting on her way somewhere. But if she's just trying to get on a train, plane, or automobile, and you're out there, oh, no, you're going to come over here, and you're an adult, don't do that.
Or you're waiting outside the toilets, or you're stood in like a narrow passageway where they have to come past. Just be aware of how it fucking will appear to them. And like I say, the lasses they won't know what's coming, whether it's just like an innocent, hi, can I have a photograph and an autograph, or if it's something sinister. So just,
Mm-hmm. And again, like I mentioned earlier in the show, it's like the people on the internet, a lot of them are weirdos, like full-blown crazy people that you don't know what they'll do if they take a video of you or a picture of you, which they may legally be able to, but still, leave everybody alone, okay? Whether you are a prankster, they are a celebrity out there, or just leave everybody alone, all right? We're not all a part of your bits.
Like you say, just go to the Comic Cons, pay Sasha Banks however much money she wants, and stand 15 feet away from her for a photograph. That's right. And just be happy for being somewhere sort of nearby.
Yeah, she's got a texting service for all you guys, all set up, ready for you. $100 a month, easy.
They just fleece, like I said earlier. It's just they find ways to absolutely fleece the shit out of everybody now.
All right, go harass Sasha Banks. You can do that. We'll allow that one. But everybody else, all right, I'm joking, of course. Leave Sasha Banks alone as well. All right. That does it for me, Danny. I think that's all the notes I got. I may go on TikTok later at Dr. Huge Show or Dr. Huge Music. They never let me change my name, the Dr. Huge Show, but at Dr. Huge Music. Go to TikTok. You know what? Go to everywhere. I got all the links right here. I may even lose some Tekken rank games later. Man, Tekken makes me so mad. Madden makes me so mad. So you'll want to see this. I'll yell at people. I've done it before. Years ago, I did some Tekken ranked, and there'd be people going, shut up through my thing. And I'm like, you shut up. I'm streaming right now, you idiot. So we'll probably get some fights. It'll be good stuff. I got music. It's all there. It's all right here. Get that link tree and follow us on YouTube, everybody. If we can get to 200 subscribers this week, we're only 3 away. That would be great. So go tell everybody about this. Go get your grandma. Sign her up for YouTube and then sign her up for Dr. Huge Show. Hit that subscribe. Hit the notifications. Where can we find you, Danny?
All my links are on dannydamage.co.uk, as well as hundreds of articles now. Please feel free to watch my now fourth and final part of my One Piece live-action skinsuit cosplay series, a One Piece by Netflix, where I go into great detail of why it was absolute dog shit, even though a lot of people believe it was okay, because it wasn't the worst live-action remake, which you're all wrong, like really, really, really wrong. Yeah. Also, my Vince McMahon piece is on there. There's a search feature on the website. Just search for Vince. Covers a lot of what we talked about and more, because he had a lot of bad shit about him, but people just forgot about that and just started making things up unnecessarily. And there's also a video games article, which is actually pinned, how to play video games, which covers a lot of things that we talked about. It was quite a good episode of this for me to just shamelessly plug some of the things I've written about in the past.
It's fine. You talk to a lot of video game music writers and things too. You've done articles with that, and
I've done a couple of interviews. Well, writing numerous articles of music and television and that. I interviewed a guy called Jack Walls last year, and Jesper Kidd, who did a Call of Duty game, and what was the other one? It was the Warhammer 40k that Jesper Kidd was releasing at the time. Dark Tides, I think it was called.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff there, so go check it out. And, of course, stay tuned. You never know. We could come back with some shows this week during the week, because there's always enough wrestling to talk about during the week. But definitely Saturdays, 3 p.m. Thank you for being involved. King Reezy in the house, Paladin, Philly Sports Pride, William Robinson showing up. Man in the White Mask as usual, Matt Diesel, everybody that's come through, all the people that are silent and just listen to this, and all the people that listen into the future. You guys are the icons, and stick with us. Huge and Verse growing, getting bigger and better every single week. Thanks for watching, and we're out of here.